Hello, people, and welcome to another episode of the Fair One podcast. Looking forward to today's fights. In particular, I'm looking forward to this Makhmud Muradov fight versus Gerald Meerschaert. Oh, I don't can't say it's Meerschaert. Um, that's going to be an interesting one for me. I think Mahmoud should win, but I do find it very very interesting. I think it will give us an idea, an indication of where Muradov could be in this middleweight division. Like he's won a lot of fights. Most of the fights he's won, though, and even this one, I have to say he would be the favorite. Um, and so it's still hard. He falls into one of those situations where you expect him to win. So, you don't know exactly what to say when he does. You know what I mean? Even if he wins in spectacular fashion, it's more a testament to him. I'm not so much a criticism. So it's going to be very interesting. Got a few new middleweights in there to have a look at. And then, of course, Edson versus Giga. That's going to be a cracker. Tell me what you guys think. I'm also looking forward to Kevin Lee versus Daniel Rodriguez. That is going to be an interesting fight. Again, just to see how they're both looking. Um, I like Daniel Rodriguez as well. I think he's quite a good fighter as well. So, yeah, this is going to be an interesting one for Kevin Lee. It's an interesting card. I don't know how much it goes over with people that aren't more hardcore fans because I watch a lot of fights. So this is an interesting one. How about Abdul Razak's knockout? I was gonna do that fight, but as soon as I turned it on, he knocked the guy out. So I didn't have time to do anything. Oliver Ekman says, "Let's go, Fab." Original Sin says, "G'day, Coach Fab. How are you, sir?" Um, Oliver Ekman says, "Nice shirt, Fabricio. Thank you, sir." Joseph says, "Hello, Coach. Hello, everybody. Wishing you all have a great weekend. P.S. Love the shirt, Coach. Thank you, sir." Um, Christian Laurent says, "Hello, great fair one." Hello, mate. How are you? Yeah, tell me what you guys think about the main event and all the other fights that are about to happen on this card. Um, I I honestly think we're gonna have quite a good night of fights. I really think we're gonna have some really good fights today. I don't not necessarily like the name value massively, will be massive, but definitely the level of fights. I think we're going to have some good fights, starting with the first fight here with Makhmud versus Gerald. That's the one I really want to see. That's the one I really want to want to catch. Christian Lorenz says the mob boss Fabulous is there, still collecting VHS tape and kilos in Western Sydney. Got to get my VHS tapes back, mate. Anyone that thought that they were going to get away without handing them back into the video store, they have another thing coming, mate. I'm here to collect. They should make a movie about that. Um, Oliver says, I'm rooting for Edson. And Christian says, Abdullah Hassan just won by a head kick 17 seconds. Yeah, I saw that. He's just threw the kick and the guy just ate it. The Jericho ate it. He's Alessio has had a bad run. He's had I think he's 1-5 or something like that in his last bunch of fights. Um, it's a shame. Joseph says, I still have a VHS of Mad Max. Laugh out loud. I might have to go and collect it, mate. I might have to go and collect it. Do a film where I post-apocalyptic film where I walk around the wasteland and pick up old VHS tapes that people should have returned, and I return them back to Blockbuster. It was an old building in Blockbuster, and I traveled all through post-apocalyptic Australia after the Great Plague, of COVID-19. Christian Lorenz says that was an incredible KO. It was. That's El Hussein's thing, though. If he catches you, you're out. So you have to try and take him down. You can't really play that game like that with him unless you're like a really really good striker. You need to take him down though. The outcast says VHS Viagra home salesman. Now I'm looking forward to this fight. I'm looking forward to seeing Makhmud do his thing. There, there's the fight that I want to see as well on this card is the the Bryan battle versus Gilbert Urbina. That's going to be an interesting fight as well. Um, Man, I really want to see Kevin Lee. I want to see what he looks like. I really enjoy watching him fight. Actually, he's one of my favorites to watch fight. Christian Lorenz says post Australia. Oliver Ekman says I had a VHS player used to watch the creature from the Black Lagoon. I think you're too young for VHS, man. I think you're too young. Proper VHS people will understand. They'll understand what it was like to get the video chewed up, the tape chewed up, and you'd have to get it out and rewind it and make sure that it's nice and straight. And then when you'd play it, it'd go and you'd see it all squiggly everywhere, you know. And then sometimes you'd be able to tape one video to another one, and they'd always come up with the warning that if you did that, you could face up to 5 years in prison. Um, Christian Lorenz says, Fab, Bam Bam has been preparing in Dubai. Do you see this as an advantage for him, given he will fight in Fight Island without his main coaches, though? I don't know, man. Everyone's different. Everyone's different. I can't say this. If he thinks it'll be an advantage to him, then it probably will be an advantage to him. Um, that's a big thing, man. Like it's one of those things you can do. I'm not saying he is, but you can do the wrong thing. But if you believe you're doing the right thing and you're 100% on it, it'll benefit you more than if you're doing the right thing, but you don't believe in it and you think you're doing the wrong thing. So I think with him, if he feels that it's an advantage and he feels more comfortable like that, then for sure, go for it. I think it says there is something to be said, though, in my opinion, about finding the right team for you, spending time, investing time into finding the right team, then making sure you look after that team as well. Because people talk about like fighter pay and this and that and that. You got to realize that these fighters also have to pay their coaches and their management and blah 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 blah. And that's all a trickle down. So you have coaches that are working for peanuts as well. So I can't say to you what it'd be like, because here in Australia it'd be hard for him to get the proper training during lockdown as well. So it might well be the right decision, because now it's hard. It would be hard for him, maybe. I don't know. Um, Christian Lorenz says that Bam Bam won't return home till October. Tough, tough. Yeah, I don't know, and it depends, man. For some people, for me, I'd be like, I don't want to. I've been away from my family, and all of that would be a lot. Like I wouldn't. It wouldn't be worth it for me. That's me. Just Harry Pap says Meerschaert is $5.50 right now. What gets you excited about this fight? Makhmud. Just seeing Makhmud in action, I enjoy seeing him. I think he's at a stage in his life where it's a kind of now or never for him. He's not young. He's like 30 years old. He's not old, but he's not like a kid. Um, and so more or less, it's like now is what he's going to be. So he will improve still. Don't get me wrong, but I'm interested to see like how well he can do. That's but so it doesn't get me excited in as far as I do think Mahmoud is the favorite by far, my opinion, and obviously the bookies. But I just think he's highly skilled, and I think he can do a little bit of damage in that division. I don't see him being able to hang with the top dogs in that division with the upper echelons. I don't see him beating. I don't see him beating a Darren Till, for instance. I don't see him beating Rob or Israel. But still, I think he's an interesting guy to see, an interesting guy to watch fight. Um. Oh yeah, Joseph. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, they do charge you if you don't rewind it before returning it. Oliver Ekman says he's picking Battle in that fight. He looked good on Tough. I've seen him fight before the Ultimate Fighter, and he's a good fighter. Um, Christian Lorenz says, Fab, will you show the Woodley Paul fight tomorrow? What do you mean, will I show it? Joseph says, to quote GSP, I don't matter if it works as long as you think it works. Hope I didn't butcher that. Laugh out loud. Yeah, that's one of the that's like a huge thing, you know. Like, having said that, you'll get much further if you believe it works and it works. You know what I mean? But yeah, because also you got to understand there's things that like you're doing that like how could I say to you? It depends on what metric. Like, obviously, what the only thing we judge the fighters on is if they win fights. So you can do everything right and lose a fight, and then everyone's judging that. Everyone's judging the fact that they lost the fight. Da 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 da. Da. But if you do everything wrong and win, you know it's that's the metric that people are judging it by. You know, so it's a tough one, man. N says Bam Bam fighting Walt Harris. Hackinator says Fab with a lockdown haircut. Yes, sir. Gary the Goat says, good evening, Fab. Excited for this card. Lee return, tough finales, and the main event. Should be a good one, sir. Should be a good one. Harry Pap says, cheers, Fab. Solid answer. The Arcast says, I got Paul, Serrano, the boy, and Fury to win on that card Showtime on that Showtime card tomorrow. Live stream the Woodley versus Paul fight tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I thought it was today. If it's tomorrow, then yeah, 100% I'll do it. I don't know why I thought it was today. Yeah, I'll do the Woodley versus. I don't know why it came up. It's the second time that's happened to me where it's messed up on me. All right, Monday, 3rd of August. I'm just looking it up. Yeah, I'll do it. 100% I'm going to do it. Yes, sir. I'm going to get Dave Roberts to advertise it. 1 second, I'll message him right now. Yep. On, people. It's on. We will be there tomorrow. Original Sin says Mahmoud Muradov was a gay porn star, rare for a Muslim. What I read about that, actually, and it's interesting that somebody brought that up because I read that. I think, I don't know, and I don't know, right? So I don't want to argue semantics with you. I'm not arguing with you. What I read and what I understand is that he posed for some photos. I don't know if that makes him a gay porn star. That he posed for some photos that were for a gay porn site. I don't know if that makes him a gay porn star. I don't know if there's a difference. Discuss. Nicholas Bright says, "Hey Fab, good to see you. Hello stream. Hello there." Um, Sorry guys, I'm skipping a few. Christian Lorenz says, "Thanks, mate. Would love to see your reaction on that one." Oh yeah, yeah. The fights, yes, the fights I'll be watching. My reaction on that bit of news is is that what you saw? Oliver Ekman says, "Who posed?" Makhmud. Makhmud posed. Apparently, I don't know if he actually did it or not, as I do not subscribe to that type of stuff, but apparently he did. Christian Lorenz says, "Fab, have you seen the video where Morrison is told to get off my lawn, mate, by a random bloke?" No, no. Do you mean Scott Morrison? No, I haven't seen that. I'm not on the tabloids a lot. Joseph says, "Damn, if the money is right, I'll pose for PetSmart wearing a costume." Yeah, that's what I mean, man. I don't know the positions that people are in sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, um, it's interesting, you know, because people say, I don't know. I don't know what position he was in to do that. He's a good looking dude too, you know. Like, it's not like people are going to offer me money to pose for anything, you know. So I don't know. I had to hand in a photo for me. Hey, wish me luck, people. Today I hand in my first uni assignment, the first assignment that I've done in 15 years. tonight is handed in. Um, it's an essay. So I have not written anything for 15 years, like that since I graduated, since I did my undergraduate. And it wasn't really that hard. It was more like just getting my mind around sitting down and doing the essay um and all that kind of stuff. It's my first thing I'm handing in forever, and I am nervous about it, mate. I'm telling you, it's more nervous than I've been about anything for a long, long time. I actually felt I was feeling down in the dumps. Now I feel a lot better now since we started this podcast. Um, Thank you, Sigoy. Thank you very much. Wishing me luck. Christian Lorenz says if Wallabies became a staple at PetSmart. So Sank says greetings from Toronto, Fab. Greetings, dear sir. Um, Christian Lorenz says would love to see my reaction of Woodley KOing Paul or vice versa. I think Paul's going to beat Woodley. I don't see Woodley beating Paul. I see Woodley trying to land big shots on him early on, and Paul doing enough to avoid it and stopping Woodley later in the fight. That's my opinion. Um, Joseph says, "Good luck, coach. For sure, it's an A plus. Give your professor a shout out on the pod just in case. Laugh out loud. I can guarantee you, she does not listen to this podcast or anything MMA related." Nicholas Bright says, "I still have nightmares about missing assignments. I haven't had to submit one in more than a decade. It's crazy, yeah. Like I was like that as well. And when I finished my bachelor's, I was like, I'm done, mate. I'm not, I can't do this. I'm not. I struggle with it. I'm not like a sit down academic administrative administration type of person. I enjoy the classes. I enjoy the readings. I enjoy the class discussions. I enjoy all of that stuff, but I don't enjoy doing the actual assignments. To be honest with you." Um, So Sank says, "Do people have exotic pets in Australia?" Not really. Like, there's a lot of restrictions around that. I think a lot of people keep snakes and stuff like that. I think you have to have a permit. But I know people keep snakes. I don't know spiders, lizards. Um, I know people have kangaroos. I don't know if they're legal or not. I've come across a few people that have had joeys and that pet deers that are in around here. That they get when they're babies and that. One of my mates, he got the deer basically disemboweled him. The same guy as the snake guy, the snake in the Hessian sack guy. Um, Gary the Goat says, "Fab, do you have a prediction for the main event or a way that you're leaning? I haven't seen enough on Giga, but his kick on Cubs' liver was sickening." Um, yeah, look, Giga seems to be a little bit, in my opinion, a little bit more tactically and fundamentally sound. More tactically, he seems to be a little bit more of a tactician, whereas Barboza's more like he's going to outkick you, he's going to outgun you. So it's really going to be which one of those can get their game off. But the thing with someone like Barboza, man, if he gets off and he lands a couple of big shots on you, he can really change it up on you. Um, but like I said, Giga's a little bit more tactical. He's got a little bit more strategy and structure to what he does. So I see that overall that's going to benefit him, in my opinion. Joseph says Paul needs to fight an actual amateur pro boxer to prove himself in my eyes. Don't No offense, Joseph, but I don't think he gives a shit because he's making a ton of money doing what he's doing, like an absolute ton of money. Christian Lorenz says Edson's kick against Evan Dunham was a body kick as well with the toes, brutal kick. Um, Christian Lorenz says was a KO. Sasank says also is the magpie problem serious? Will I be pecked to death if I'm on the wrong street? You won't be pecked to death, but if you ride a bike, anyone that's ever ridden a bike around the neighborhoods would have got swooped by the magpies. I got like holes in my helmets from magpies doing it. Christian Lorenz says, would the greeting between the Kiwi and Wallaby be one of the nicest greetings ever? I don't know. Why would it be? Joseph says, I got Edson YouTube better hairline. No offense, coach. No, none taken, mate. None taken. F says, I'm not sold on Giga. He's not really all that subtle with his offense, especially from Southpaw. But to be fair, neither is Barboza. He's just quicker. That's fair. That's a fair assessment, I believe. F. Joel Forbes gives a thumbs up. Thank you, Jolie. Hackinator says Paul's brain is underrated, getting paid great and choosing fights that he can win and increase his value. That's what I think too. I absolutely think that. Like I would fight Danny DeVito. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a Danny DeVito fight or a Morgan Freeman fight, something like that. I don't want anyone that is someone that can fight back or anything like that. I want the most amount of bang for my buck. So if I can fight someone like a Morgan Freeman or a Danny DeVito that have big followings and I could more than likely beat, then I'll take that fight. Bear in mind, I have really bad knees. I have really, really bad knees. So, yeah. So, Sank says we have Canadian geese attacks. They bite off fingers. Man, ganders, geese, ducks, they're all pretty mean. Valka says, are there mad cane toads over there? I heard they have no natural predators. Up north, in on the sugarcane fields and that in Queensland, there's a lot of cane toads. But cane toads wouldn't have a lot of natural predators, period, because they're disgusting creatures. But yeah, up north, not here, not in New South Wales. Christian Lorenz says, did you see Jenna Fabian get smashed by Kayla Harrison? Do you have any quick thoughts on Fabian and her future potential? No, I don't. I think though that the problem when you have again in women's MMA, there isn't a lot of depth in MMA, so it's hard to gauge in the women's MMA. It's hard to gauge like how good some of the girls are. Like someone like Kayla Harrison, like a Ronda Rousey, until like your some of these other girls came along, like a Holly Holm or oh my god, how did I forget her name? But anyways, Nunez, someone like that, you know, you don't have that depth in the women's division, so it's hard for me to gauge that. To be honest with you, obviously Kayla Harrison is a very legit athlete. Obviously with the judo background, I watched her in judo, but there's a big gap like with the girls, so it's hard for me to gauge. Jeff Bezos coaches the fight to make. I want Morgan Freeman, man. I want Morgan Freeman or Danny DeVito. That's me. I'm not all respectfully. I'm a huge fan of both of them, but they'd be the fight to make with me. I think not not in any bad way, but just yeah, yeah. I don't know too much um about her. You know what I mean about Jenna Fabian? Very very little. You know, very little. Um, Gary the Goat says Dan Hooker being on the prelims of 266 is criminal. Yeah, but I think he bashes the dude he's going to fight. I think he bashes that guy. Christian Lawrence says Canadian wolf and bear attacks. Yeah, man, we watch that. My wife and I watch that all the time. All that, like anything to do with like Alaska, Canada, Siberian tundra, anything like that. We watch it. I'm fascinated with the wolf and bear attacks and shit like that. Hackinator says thoughts on sorry guys, I got a message, Dave Roberts. Um thoughts on Paul pissing off Dana about fighter pay. I think it helps him, to be honest with you, because I mean Paul's got a huge following. The more he like, whether it's good or bad news, it just I think they all love it. I think that Dana White's not going to be shocked that anyone's bringing that up. To be honest with you, I think everyone knows more or less what the UFC fighter pay discrepancy is. Um, I I don't even think that Dana White's really that pissed off about it. So Sank says, who do you have for Rico Verhoeven versus Alistair Overeem? Rico. I have Rico winning that fight unless Alistair catches him something early. 31 years old and 33 years old, respectively, for Gerald Meerschaert and Makhmud Muradov. And that's what I mean. That's why I say to you, I was interested in this fight is because I'm interested in seeing Muradov, but I I'm interested in seeing him fight, right? But this is kind of where it's going to be at. Like if he how he looks against Gerald is going to be a big one. If he can get through Gerald relatively easily, which odds say he should, then we can keep looking up further. If he struggles with him or loses to him, then I don't think he's the prospect that people believed he was. Sorry to be so blatant and blunt about it. Um, the outcast says Meerschaert got bopped by Chimaev quick. Yeah, look, he got caught. That's 100%. Let's see what happens in this fight. That's why I'm interested. Christian Lorenz says, I've been to Vancouver Fab. The wilderness in BC is massive. Yeah, I really want to go, man. I really, really, really want to go. We're about to kick off, people. We're about to kick off. They touch gloves. We're off, people. Gerald coming in aggressive, trying to cut that distance. Muradov um, doesn't look that big. Like he looks very lean and very muscular, but he doesn't look that big. He got eye poked in Muradov. Again, the thing I see with Muradov, one of the things that I see, I don't know if it's just the way he fights or he fights with almost pressure to knock people out. So he throws big bombs like there. He almost clipped Gerald then, but he fights like he needs to finish the fight straight away. Yeah, that's just one of the things I see. Nice little jabs land a little right hand on Meerschaert. Gerald goes looking for a takedown, and there's a big shots landed by Muradov. Gerald flopped down a guard, but he has to land the jab, I believe. Again, Muradov looking for big, big shots to land. I'd like to see him use that jab because he had very good success with it. The difference in their stand up is huge. And I don't see Gerald being able to get him to the ground at all. I don't see that. Muradov has to be smart, let him keep getting back up. I mean, Gerald is extremely outclassed here on the feet, and it doesn't look like he's going to be able to take him down. But he's doing the right thing because he's recognized that he's not trying to stand and trade, and he is trying to get the takedowns. But there's just a skill discrepancy here, and it's quite big. Muradov's looking for that right hand a little too much. That's what I mean. Look, it's I. That's one of the things that I see with Muradov. Like he really, really, really comes after it with that right hand, and I'd like to see him set that up a little bit more. Not look for the takedown, not look for the knockout quite as much. Nice little check hook there by Muradov. Then a big right hand over the top. Gerald shot from about 1 meter more than what was necessary. He was nowhere near it. Was he going to get that takedown? Throws a little left hand over the top, does Gerald. Switches to southpaw, does Muradov. Changes back. Goes looking for that huge right hand again. He's just missing by a matter of inches. Nice. Gerald keeps flopping to the ground. He has to as well because he can't stay standing with him. And he's not even close to getting a takedown. But somewhere in there, the longer he lasts, the better it is for him. And somewhere in there, he might hit him with something. but he is massively outclassed. Little left hand lands by Gerald Meerschaert there. Oh, lands a little jab, does Meerschaert. Throws a left kick to the body, eats a head kick for his troubles. I just see Muradov really trying to land that right hand all the time. Really, really trying to land that right hand. Really trying to get that knockout. Got hit low, did Muradov. Got hit low. Original Sin says, but he was in a very bad financial situations during that time. I don't know, man. For a man, there are many things you could do when you are legal in a country, especially young, strong man. That is just not a road to travel. Um, dude, I wouldn't do it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not interested in doing it. F says Chimaev cut the cage off way too easily. Meerschaert gave basically no resistance that fight. Honestly, even with this, like, I see if Muradov was a little bit more patient and wasn't like swinging for the fences with her right hand, and he was a little bit more patient, just cutting off the cage, landing the jab, establishing the distance, I think the knockout would have come by now. That's my take on it. But he kind of, with the zeal that he has to knock people out, he I think he kind of crowds himself and makes it uglier than it needs to be. Gary the Goat says Mark Smith was telling Meerschaert to fight back a lot in that round, even while they were standing. Never seen something like that. In what round? In the Chimaev fight? Because here's the thing, man. Like, you can only do what your skills are. Like, I don't see how he was going to beat Chimaev, to be honest. Hamzat's a much better wrestler than him, much better. He's never going to get him down, and he hits a lot harder. So it's one of those fights. Like, fuck, you can tell him to do whatever he wants. Even this fight, I don't really see, outside of catching Muradov with something kind of lucky, I don't really see him being able to outstrike Muradov, and I don't see him being able to take him down. Having said that, I do think that Muradov makes fights harder for himself than he needs to. And Meerschaert just came back with it a little bit. He's throwing the little overhand left as he changes levels. Inside leg kick by Muradov. Another inside leg kick by Muradov, and he falls down. Marshall Smarter says, gentlemen, I'm passively watching while playing guitar. Good evening, all. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You sound like Jewel. Thank you for being on here. Oh, Meerschaert might get this takedown. There's 26 seconds to go. He takes Muradov's back. Nice work by Meerschaert. Nice work. He's got one hook in and the half Nelson on the far side. He's going to be able to hold Muradov down. Muradov's not going to be able to get up. 4, 3, 2, 1. Yeah, Jason, I think he definitely landed some shots. I don't know how much he hurt him necessarily, but he definitely landed some shots. He definitely landed some shots. Marshall Smarter says, these hands, they are my own. They're not yours. They are my own. Thank you, sir. Harry Pap says, Ripper first round, Fab, you called it. Yeah, man, that's what I was interested a lot with the Muradov fight, because I see him making the fights harder for himself than they need to be. And in a situation with someone like Gerald, where he's expected to beat Gerald, you know what I mean? He's very, very much expected to beat him. And Gerald's making the fight, it's not pretty, it's not good. Gerald's making the fight ugly, making the fight longer, and I feel that Muradov's playing straight into that. He's not really as settled as he could be. And that's just making the fight harder for him. He's always looking for that knockout, and it's hard. He's throwing the big right hand looking for the knockout. They touch gloves again. They exchange hands. Meerschaert hit him with the left hand, but they exchanged it and hit him with the right hand in Muradov. Again, Muradov just making things so difficult, doing the punching swimming technique. For someone, and he's got good stand up. He does have very decent stand up. He just makes it a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Single leg attempt by Meerschaert, well defended by Muradov. Inside leg kick by Muradov. Right to the body by Muradov. But what starts to happen here is the confidence of Muradov starts to drop a little bit, and Meerschaert's confidence starts to go up, especially as the fight progresses and you lose some of that power. Nice takedown by Meerschaert, but Muradov got straight back to his feet. Meerschaert had Gerald caught a low kick by Muradov. Now he hits Muradov with a nice little jab. They exchange left hook over the top by Muradov. Nice left hand by Gerald. He might have Muradov in trouble. Oh, he's hurt Muradov. He's hit Muradov with a nice left hand. Muradov looks to be gassing out a little bit, swinging for the fences with big left hands. He's got his back. He's taken his back. He's got the rear naked. It looks like he might sink this rear naked choke in. He's got it. Muradov is not doing a good job of defending. He's not doing a good job of defending at all. Meerschaert's going to get this tap. He's going to get it. He's tapped him. Well done, Meerschaert. Well done. What's happened here? I think Muradov's complaining something, but nah. Well done. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was why I was interested in this fight. He came in highly touted, but there were things that I'd seen in his game that I was just like, there's things that he does that I don't know that he is going to necessarily be the prospect that he looks like he's going to be. Like he's had a few wins and he's had a few good knockouts, but I see that he makes the fights harder for himself than he needs to. So yeah, that's how I see that. And man, he beat him. He beat him. Gary the Goat says first Meerschaert fight I saw was the Hamzat one. Glad to see him get a victory here. He's that's how he fights. You know what I mean? That's how Meerschaert fights. Like I think that if Muradov was a little bit more settled, um, it could have been a lot harder for Gerald. But it wasn't. It wasn't. Yeah, he just fights at the way that the other person fights. Just a second, hold on. Yeah, he kind of fights. I don't want to say down to their level, but he fights how the other person fights a lot of the times, and that's where I saw it being a bit of a problem with someone like Gerald Meerschaert. That's what I was actually interested in, to see. Well, all right, we're going to see where this guy sits in that middleweight division, and then you start to realize, okay, that's the difference. There's a pretty big difference there. So I'm actually very happy for GM3. Original Sin, I agree. Um, there was again fighting with a lot of there's like Muradov has like a lot of pressure, like he's fighting with a lot of pressure to get knockouts, to get finishes. Um, and that's no good. So I feel for him, but congratulations to GM3. Very, very nice. That's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see how that fight was going to go. Um, I had noticed that there was, like I said, I had noticed that there were a few holes there that could be exploited, and they were. And he just made it ugly, man. Made it ugly. That's how he fights. And Muradov fell straight into it. He made it. He fought ugly as well. And someone like Gerald Meerschaert, he's looking for that. He's looking for you to fight like that. He's looking for you to give him openings. So yeah, very very interesting. And he did not look very good. Like he looked tired. He looked really really tired. Did Muradov. Harry Papp says closing odds on Gerald made him the biggest underdog on the card. That was huge. Yeah, man. I look going into it. I think that it was right for Muradov to be a decent favorite, but like I said, he had he has a few things where I wouldn't feel comfortable putting a lot of money on it. Um, so that was good, man. That was interesting. That was a really interesting fight. Wasn't a pretty fight. Wasn't a pretty fight. But he did. He dragged it into later into he dragged it as far as he could. Fell over, took went for takedowns, threw overhand lefts. Yeah, Marshall smartest out of nowhere comes throwing bombs like vintage Gomi, trying to end the fight. Says Marshall Smarter says noodles for cool and the gang. I appreciate that, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Jed Kerr says you're watching the Jake Paul fight after this. Now, from my understanding, the Jake Paul fight, according to people, is and according to my sources, for me is tomorrow. So I will not be doing it today. I've been caught out starting fights 14 hours early in the past. That won't happen again. Now we got Andre Petroski versus Michael Gilmore. Juice says, has Fab spoken about Verhoeven versus Overeem? I haven't. I just said that I think Verhoeven will win. What in particular what is your are your questions and ideas? I just think that it's Verhoeven's time right now, and at any point in history, I think he more or less would beat Overeem. Maybe when Overeem was Uberim, super Overeem, maybe, but Verhoeven's a very, very, very good kickboxer and very, very big. Um, Marshall Smarter says, "What's going on with Danny DeVito? Is he silent on the issue?" I don't know, man. I haven't heard him. I haven't heard anything about it. Morgan Freeman, I'm also looking for a fight with him. Any of those guys. So whatever happens there, like I don't want anyone that could beat me. So probably those guys are the safest bets. Although, if you've watched Million Dollar Baby, Morgan Freeman shows some pretty good boxing skills. So you got to be careful with that. Jed Kurz says, "My bad, brother. It is tomorrow. Yeah, it is tomorrow. I think so. I'll be doing that show tomorrow. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I didn't know it was tomorrow, but I do. I don't think it's going to be a great fight, to be honest. I think that Jake Paul's going to win that one. The Outcast says, "Who you got? Ghani versus Ngannou eventually fight." I don't know. I think that I don't know who will win. Anyone can say anything. I think what I'm going to say, everyone's going to say, yep, the same thing. Like, I think in the first 2.5 rounds, Ngannou, it's all Ngannou. It's all Ngannou very much the favorite. He can land some big shots. Uh, they can land some really big shots and hurt you and knock you out. And he can hit you and knock you out while he's off balance. while Derek Lewis possesses that kind of power, he's nowhere near as mobile as Francis. Um, Cyril, though, on the other hand, is very mobile. He seems to be able to slide in and out of the way of the punches. He's a heavyweight, man, so he's going to hit hard enough that Francis can't just run in, you know. Um, and I believe that he'll try and wrestle Francis. I don't know that he'll be able to out wrestle Francis, but I think you can try to wrestle Francis. The thing is, as long as he tries to wrestle Francis, as long as he keeps Francis moving, if he can pick up a leg of Francis and make Francis hop, especially with those big guys, if he can make him hop, he can make him not move. Um, Towards the latter part of the rounds, I think that's it's going to be Cyril. Can Cyril survive those 2.5 rounds with Ngannou? I don't know. Do you know what I mean? I don't know. That's a big ask. Like it's 15 minutes, 12 minutes, something like that, that you need to survive with Francis, and then you have to have done enough damage and made him work enough that in the last 2 rounds you can capitalize on it. I think that Cyril is the tidier and the neater and the more technical of the two. Um, but Francis is ungodly power, ungodly power that you can't really quantify, man. You can't the way that he can hit people even off balance, like moving backwards on one foot, whatever, any of that stuff that he can do makes things very, very, very difficult for anyone to be able to fight him, to be honest with you. Um, I imagine DeVito has top level takedown defense. I would want to keep him at the end of my jab, to be honest with you. That'd be the plan. I'm not going to talk too much about the rest of it, but probably a lot of front kicks down the middle, keep him on the end of my jab, mix my jabs up, different types of jabs, front kicks, front kicks, front kicks at different levels, sneak in a right hand, and as soon as I can, shoot in, maybe take the back, broomstick sweep, and try and grind him out somewhere in the fourth, fifth, try and finish it. That's the only way I can think of me beating Danny DeVito. Juice says, I was wondering if you found the matchup exciting or do you think it won't be competitive? I think it'll be competitive because Overeem comes to fight. I don't know that, and he knows how to fight. I don't know that he can keep up with Verhoeven. That's all. Marshall Smarter says, I only remember the neck break scene, PTSD. What you say that you only meant well. Well, of course you did. What you say? Oh, I didn't realize there was more lyrics. Thank you, sir. Harry Papa says, Fab, does Petroski win by sub or decision? I don't know. I don't know enough about these guys, to be honest with you. I've seen these guys fight, but I haven't seen enough of them. I've seen like one fight of each of them. Um, Joseph says, DeVito notorious ankle biter, according to my sources too. Yeah, he could do that. He could very well do that. The outcast says you got to teep DeVito. That's where a lot of people get that mistaken. I think that the teep is good sometimes, but the front snap kick's a little better because it's you can pull it back a lot quicker and it's a lot harder to catch. And against the Sean Shirk, Danny DeVito type of character, you don't want them catching your legs, getting on top with their short little arms. Can't catch anything from the guard. They're going to land ground and pound. They're going to land elbows. So the short front snap kicks, hidden in the jabs, hit him with some level changes, are going to give me the victory against Danny DeVito, I believe. But anything can happen. It's a fight, it's a fight. Juice says, do you have any idea how big the UFC roster is? Whenever I watch one championship highlights, it's always someone I've never heard of. Seems like their roster is huge. The UFC roster is massive, man. It's like 800 fighters, something like that. Um, Joseph says, wonder what the new subs on this channel are thinking when they hear Coach talk about fight plan against Danny DeVito. I man, I I want to. Why does everyone got to hate? You know what I mean? I want to talk myself into a fight with Morgan Freeman or Danny DeVito. That would be a crazy fight, dude. That'd be crazy. We'd be fucking swinging for the fences in there trying to end the fight. And if you haven't already, guys, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Gary the Goat says, I imagine a bunch of fighters brought Danny DeVito into their camps to simulate Shirk back in the day. I think so. I They're very, very similar body types, very similar body types. They both seem like aggressive types that are going to get you on, nice, tidy boxing, good double leg, get on top, get in your guard, land elbows. That's the game plan with them. So yeah, they'd be very similar, very, very similar. Um, how does Fab beat Dana White? The TRT is doing OT. Well, Harry Paps, I wouldn't take that fight simply because he wouldn't pass the drug test, and he's also a lot bigger than me, a lot bigger. And Juice says, when he first mentioned it, I almost Googled the video thinking it was a new fighter. I'll be back in a second, people. I just got to get my slippers. Um, Coach, do you want DeVito on a 3 or 5 rounder? 5 rounder for sure, 100%. Um, DJ Vohm says, you want a piece of Keanu Reeves? Nah, man, he's too young and probably too big. The outcast says Morgan Freeman would be disturbing because he would narrate the fight while you're trying to catch him slipping. Um, it would be, but I'll have a good fight with him, man. That would be a good one. So Andre Petroski's 30 years old. Michael Gilmore's 34, 6 feet and 5'11", respectively. Both guys the same weight, basically the same reach. They look like more or less carbon copies of each other. Everything else is virtually identical. Hey Fabs, I recently inquired about a wrestling class with a gym you most likely know, and they said it's only open for people who do the BJJ class to join. Why do you think they put such a rule? No idea. I have no idea. Um, they said it's only Khalid Ahmed. It's only open, so you have to do the jujitsu class to do the wrestling class. I don't know. Probably because they don't want people. Maybe I'm just assuming they probably don't want like wrestling dudes to come in and pound their dudes. I suppose. I don't know. I have no idea. Um, Juice says slipper is code for bong rip. Gary the Goat says, speaking of that, what are your thoughts on an average guy doing TRT at around 40 or so? Seems like that could have some real benefits in terms of staying young. I'm 41, and like I'm not a doctor. This is the first and foremost thing. Okay, we'll talk about that in a second. We're off, people. They touch gloves. Petrovsky in the southpaw stance, while Gilmore in the orthodox. Petroski comes in quite aggressive, throws a lead hand down the middle. Gilmore in the orthodox stance. Petroski throws a left kick to the body. Nice little check hook by Gilmore. Oh, Petroski goes looking for a knee pick, then throws a right hand over the top and misses. Gilmore looks very calm, very settled. Petroski's absolutely the aggressor, though, in this fight. He's controlling the center of the octagon, and Gilmore skirting the peripheries of the octagon. Oh, they exchanged shots. Gilmore got hit with a little right hook. Petroski's in deep on this double leg. I think his hands are linked behind him. He's able to elevate, pick Gilmore up, and slams him to the mat whilst at the same time passing guard. He's now in side control. He has the correct shoulder pressure. He needs to get that left leg further up the armpit to make it more difficult for if he wants to pin the upper body down. If not, you control the hips with your own legs. It's either or, and he's chosen to control the hips with his left leg. I'd like to see Gilmore. Gilmore's going to try and get out from like scoot underneath him, but it's going to be very hard because Petroski's a good wrestler, knows what he's doing there. I'd probably like to see Gilmore actually start to frame a little bit more with his arms on the hips of Petroski to give himself a little bit of space, to try and get those legs back in. But Petroski is still trying to get under and turn underneath Petroski, but Petroski's having none of it. Petroski's doing a great job. He's passed into a smash pass. And he's landing some decent ground and pound on Gilmore. This is really taking when this happens, like when a good grappler, a big wrestler, grappler, whatever, gets you down and he's able to work like this, you are really always a step behind, and it really starts to gas you out. It really starts to gas the guy on the bottom out because you're defending. There's a lot of isometric contractions, a lot of isometric holds. If you're able to get back up to your feet quickly, then you've both wasted the same amount of energy and it's all right. But after a given amount of time, once you've already stopped and the person's starting to land shots themselves, such is the case just about now, like now and moving forward, the person that's on the bottom is really starting to get gassed unless he can get himself to his feet relatively soon, which he has. And now Petroski does a great job of elevating him and dumping him back to the ground, riding him over, has taken his back, looks to sink. He's sunk one hook in. If he's going to be able to sink the other hook in, he's got that kind of hip lock there that keeps the person on the ground. Put both hooks in now. He's got both hooks in. Petroski's trying to get one of his arms loose here. He's got the arm and it's across his face. He can still create a lot of torque here. He's going to give this face a good crank here. It's not in a position to submit him, really. It's not. This would be really uncomfortable on your back and on your face, but it's not really going to submit you. It would feel like shit. It's like the worst kind of thing that it's the worst kind of thing you do, like to a white belt in a jiu-jitsu gym. But this guy's not going to tap from it. Gilmore's not going to tap. Petroski's going to, I think, more or less going to keep him here the majority of the round because I think Gilmore knows enough to defend his hands, and Petroski looks good. Like he looks like he'd be able to control you and whatnot, but he doesn't look like he's completely versed in certain positions. I think he's looking for a guillotine here if he can get it, if he can get in the position. 3, 2, 1, time. Okay, so Gary, I don't know, but I'd also say to you, it depends. Like at 41, I'm not even like a picture of health. Like I'm not, but I still feel pretty young, man. Like at 41, like I look after myself. I look after what I eat. I don't drink alcohol, etc. So I don't know that you'd need TRT necessarily at 41. I don't know. It depends if you're fighting. If you're a fighter in that, then I mean it's going to benefit you immensely. But an average person doing TRT at 40, I don't know. I think there's a lot of things you can do, like to still be very young at 40, even at 50. Um, Kane says the epic shirt is back. Thank you, sir. Marshall Smarter says calm fighters with skill enough to use the tranquility are often the best. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to skip a couple tough dudes. And then Marshall Smarter says if this guy had 2 months of back control, he'd be awful from there. Temi says no live stream. No, sir, there is no live stream. We do not do live streams. We do the watch along and we have commentary, but we don't do a live stream. You will have to go on the UFC site for that one. And we're off, people. So definitely Petroski's first round, my opinion. But I don't know how much gas tank he's going to have moving on, because it still required a lot of effort for him. It wasn't like he did get the better of it, but it still required quite a bit of an exchange from him. Inside leg kick by Gilmore. Nice work. And whilst it cost Gilmore stuff as well, it also, he still showed that he was able to get back to his feet and whatnot on more than one occasion and defend it. Gilmore started to time that, almost hit him with a nice little uppercut, did Gilmore. Hits him with a nice 1-2, does Gilmore. If I had to guess, I think Gilmore's going to come back and win this fight. I think that Gilmore will probably start to pick him apart. Petroski fights and when I say this, I don't mean it in a bad way. Petroski's fights very much, in my opinion, I haven't seen a lot of his fights. Oh, Petroski with a nice left high kick, left hand, but he fights very much like a bully, not in a bad way. I'm not saying. He'll get on top, he'll muscle you, he'll hurt you, and yeah, and that's how he fights, and I think that's hard to do once your gas tank starts to diminish. Right now, he's still looking good. He's still looking pretty good. But I have to believe that Gilmore is also feeling more confident in the fact that he's been in the worst positions with Petroski can offer, and Petroski wasn't able to finish him. Right hand by Gilmore. Gilmore defends the takedown. This is where it's going to start to get ugly for Petroski. 3 minutes to go in the second round. Gilmore defends the takedown. Gilmore throws that right hand down the middle. If he can start backing Petroski up, it'll be very, very interesting for Gilmore. Gilmore hits him with an outside leg kick. I think Petroski's arms are a little bit muscled. Another takedown defense by Gilmore, and he's trying to let his arms loose. Nice kick by Gilmore. Drops Petroski. It starts to get real difficult, man. Nice overhand left by Petroski. Another leg kick. 2 leg kicks now landed by Gilmore. The leg kicks make it hard for someone like Petroski to shoot the double leg, which is very important for him to win. And even because he's such a power-based fighter, for him to be able to really set himself to throw those big shots as well. Is it going to be enough for Gilmore to win this round? I don't know. There's 2 minutes to go. It's still up for grabs this round. Definitely first round was Petroski. That's what I was saying, C-Law, right at the start, that Gilmore looked very, very composed. Nice outside leg kick landed by Gilmore. I don't think Gilmore has to land too many more leg kicks before he starts to put that leg out of commission for Petroski. Oh, nice left hook there landed by Gilmore. Petroski threw some power of his own, but Gilmore caught him with a nice little check hook. Hits him on the outside on the leg. Again, another leg kick landed. I believe that leg of Petroski's has been compromised. It looks like he wants to switch stances. He's trying to move around, keep the movement going, but it's locking up on him. Oh, throws a nice big left hand, does Petroski, but at the same... Oh, Petroski gets caught with a right hand coming in. 1 minute to go. Both guys exchanging. Big left hand lands by Petroski. Petroski's in deep on a double leg. Gilmore's defending it, but Petroski gets him down. There's 50 seconds to go. He's past. His inside control is Petroski. On the stats, it says that Gilmore landed a lot more significant strikes. I believe that. It could be around a piece. 27 seconds to go. Petroski now has a knee on belly. And he's landing some good ground. He landed some couple good little elbows there. He's landed on on Gilmore. This is a good fight. Nice. He's got the mount. He's got the mount. Gilmore can very easily get back to half guard there. There's 1 second to go. Now, yeah, see, I don't know how you score that because I don't know how they score that. I'll be honest with you because the fight up until that point was being won, in my opinion, by Gilmore. He was landing the better shots, etc., etc. Then when he got the takedown, though, he got his guard passed. He went to side control. He went to knee on belly. He went to full mount, and he started to land some ground and pound. And in fairness, the closest it looked to the fight being finished was probably then. So I don't know. I don't know. C-Law says Petroski doesn't gas like most with their muscles though, Fab. No, it's not so much the muscles per se. He's definitely slowed down though, man. He definitely has slowed down, and he's not hitting the takedowns in the same way. So I don't know. Gilmore was able to start coming on quite well in that second round until he got taken down right late. So we'll see. So we're off to the third round. This fight's up for grabs. I do think that Petroski could well be winning both rounds. Maybe. I don't know. But it's still up for grabs, in my opinion, because I think Gilmore has found some success in some of the things that he was doing. Yeah, I think Petroski is up 2 rounds. Nice. Nice. He's in deep. He's in deep. Gets the takedown. Well done by Petroski. Is Gilmore going to be able to get up? I don't know. I don't think so. He's basically mounted here. And this is what happens here. This is where uh Petroski's able to rest here. And I don't know that Gilmore's going to be able to get back up onto his feet from here. He's basically in full mount, like up against the cage without much room for his hips to move, with Petroski on top of him. And Petroski knows he wants to hold him down. So yeah, he's in full mount. I think Gilmore's gonna not gonna be able to get him off him. And it isn't massively hard for Gilmore to start looking for that half guard. He basically has to get that knee. The knee has to go up past Petroski's ankle. So his right knee has to get up kind of past that right ankle to allow, and then that left leg can pull the the leg over into the half guard. But he's not doing that. And Petroski now has that Dagestani uh, handcuff on, and he's got a half Nelson on him as well. And this more or less keeps you pinned down, like you can't really move from there, and it gives you quite a few free shots there. He's he's in a position to get triangled. I don't know if I don't see Petroski trying the triangle on Gilmore, but he could have gone for a triangle then. Gilmore now turns, but Petroski switches straight away. The other side now is going to be more of the same. I don't see Gilmore being able to get up from here. Yeah, from here it's just going to be Petroski on top, and he's not going to let him up. Gilmore's very, very tough, but he's just taking huge shots now. He's gift wrapped. Petroski's managed to gift wrap him, and he's just landing shot after shot after shot to the side of the head, shot after shot. There's a minute and 52 seconds to go. He's in all sorts of trouble. Is Gilmore? Yeah, just stop that fight for sure. Great work by Petroski. Great work. Um, Mixed Partial Fart says the Fair One podcast. Thank you, sir. The Outcast says, Coach, what do you think of Paddy Pimblett, ex Cage Warriors champ, making his UFC debut soon? again, is like like what I was saying about Makhmud Muradov, and I'm interested to see how he goes. That's what I have to say because it's a big jump, man. It's a big jump. Sometimes these guys do really, really well, and sometimes they don't. And you can't really tell. Like Muradov had a lot of hype coming in behind him, and I still hadn't seen him fight someone. I would have thought that he would beat Gerald Meerschaert. I would have thought they would beat him, but he didn't. So I got. I'm interested to see Paddy Pimblett, but I can't say to you, yeah, he's going to do this, this, and then and the other. Nicholas Bright says Anthony Pettis apparently just won $9,000 betting on Gerald Meerschaert. you know, yes, like that's what I was saying before. Like I didn't necessarily think he was going to win, but I thought that there was enough from Muradov. I thought there was enough in the matchup that Muradov could lose it. Just there's a lot of things that Muradov does that leads him that way when he fights a guy that makes fights ugly. Muradov makes the fights uglier when he doesn't need to. And I think he's got too much pressure to try and finish fights with knockouts, in my opinion. Yeah, hey, come here. Come here. Come here. Say hello to everyone. Vinny.
Hello.
Say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Mommy.
Yeah, so we're here, we're watching the fights. Yeah, I think he just makes the fights a little bit more difficult for himself, like than what he needs to. Um, Sweat Lord says, "What's your take on Khabib's words about ring girls?" I think he's right. Like, come on, we are past scantily clad women, and to the people arguing they hype a live crowd, let them wear what they want. Um, I don't know what Khabib said. I don't know what Khabib said about the ring girls. I don't I don't really I don't really understand the need for it. To be honest with you, I really don't. Ring girls or ring guys, whatever you want. I don't understand the need for it. That's just me. Um, I've I've never understood the need for it, but that's me. I don't really get it. Um, Armstrong Boneyard says, "Hi Queen, oh my God." Anthony Bodybuilding News says Anthony Pettis gambling enough money to win $9,000 makes me wonder how wisely he's been spending his earnings. The problem with that is as well, when you win $9,000 betting, I wonder how many bets you've put on that you've lost because you still would have needed to put on a fair bit of money on Gerald to win that 9 grand. That I don't know that that's the wisest investment ever to gamble on any kind of fighting. Um, Shwet Lord says, I completely agree. No need for ring girls at all. Like I don't really but I've never understood. There's always been a whole bunch of stuff that I've never really understood, which maybe I always thought it was me as like a little bit different to people. But I don't know, dude. I don't really understand the excitement behind that. I don't really get it. Nicholas Bright says, hello, little Ite. Say hello.
Hello.
Ah, what a sweetheart. Yes. So we watching here fights, watching a lot of violence with my tiny daughter here, and hopefully you'll beat someone up in kindergarten. No, I don't want my daughter to beat anyone up in kindergarten before everyone loses their mind. Um, but she will be starting. She had started gymnastics already when we were before we all had to go into lockdown. She had already started the gymnastics classes, and I'll put her in judo very soon. As soon as she's 3, she's 1.5 now, so she'll start judo very very soon. So yes, I just want her to be able to defend herself. I don't necessarily want her to be the world champion or anything. I just want her to be able to defend herself. That was a good fight, man. Both fights, I have to say, both fights thus far have been pretty good. They've been fun to watch. And I believe that now we have Kevin Lee versus Daniel Rodriguez. So that should be good. It's been quite a treat, actually. The fights.
Daddy.
Yes. And I don't. Shretlord says Kamaru versus Colby just announced. That's going to be a good fight, man. That's an interesting fight. I think Kamaru is very hard to beat right now. Um, he's looking very, very, very good at the moment, you know. But Colby's a good fighter too, man. He's a very, very good fighter as well. He's a very good fighter. It's going to be a good fight, this one. I'd like to see more wrestling from both of them.
Daddy.
It's confirmed for early November. Man, I'm looking forward to that. Kamaru Usman, what a card. Rose Namajunas, Justin Gaethje versus Michael Chandler, Sean Strickland versus Luke Rockhold. What a card. Frankie Edgar versus Marlon Vera. Wow. Wow. Ala Quinta versus Bobby Green. Aldana versus Derandami. Man, Zhang Weili versus Rose Namajunas. This is going to be a good fight, man. This is going to be a good fight night. Mexi says, put her in a dance class as well, in my opinion. I think that I don't even have to worry about. I think she's going to put herself in dance class pretty soon. She loves dancing and that. So, yeah, she's funny, mate. She dances all the time. And Chuck Les says, I'd put 9 grand on Fab to beat DeVito. Mate, I'm telling you, I probably don't do that. It could be closer than you think. Danny DeVito just looks like he'd have a chin on him too, you know? He looks like he'd have a really, really good chin. All tucked in there like that, like good. This Daniel Rodriguez got good strikes, man. Good hands. He's got very, very good hands. What are you doing?
Mommy.
If you want to go, mummy's outside.
Mommy. Mommy.
All right, go with mummy. Excuse me, people. So it says Nicholas Bright says, I'm a huge Aldana fan, but I don't see her beating Durandamy. Me neither. Me neither. Durandamy's pretty good, man. She's pretty good. That card, November 11 card, that's going to be a really, really good card. Um, yeah, I see it being a struggle, I see it being a real struggle. Man, that's going to be such a good card. I really can't wait to watch that card. That's actually a really nice card. And I'm really interested to see Strickland versus Rockhold. And again, that's a fight there that so far I've always expected Strickland to beat the guys that he was going to beat. Even with Uriah Hall, I thought he was going to beat him. Um, I didn't think he was going to beat Uriah Hall the way that he did. To be honest, though, I think he was going to beat him, but I didn't think he was going to beat him the way that he did. Rockhold it's interesting because Rockhold I haven't seen him for a while, so you don't know how he's going to be. But I mean, you don't know how he's going to look. But this is the fight that I believe will make a big difference. If Strickland gets past Rockhold, then you've got to start thinking, well, you know, can he go the whole way? Because two guys that I don't see him beaten at all is Rob or Israel. I don't see Strickland beating him, but you don't know. Prediction for Lee versus Rodriguez. Rodriguez impressed me, man. His last fight, the one that I saw, really, really, really impressed me. The Kevin Lee has run hot and cold as well. You know, he's run hot and cold over the last however many years I've been watching his career. He's run very, very hot and cold. When Kevin Lee is on, when it's his day, Kevin Lee's an absolute killer. an absolute killer. Um, I don't know if it's like I don't know exactly what it is because I don't know him, so I can't really say anything. But it seems to me almost like sometimes I kind of I don't know if it's I don't want to use the word lack of focus because like I said, I don't know him. But there are times when you watch Kevin Lee fight and you think, man, this guy could beat anyone. And then there's other times where he loses to guys that you think, man, this guy's going to smash him. Um, and Daniel Rodriguez is good, man. He's very, very, very good. He really impressed me last time. I don't know. I can't give you. I can't give you a prediction. I think that Kevin Lee can make it ugly. I think that Kevin Lee can get him on the mats. Really, really deal with him on the mats. But Rodriguez's hands are good. If you get into an actual boxing match with him here in MMA, 4-ounce gloves, he can make your life really, really, really difficult. I don't see Rodriguez submitting Kevin Lee though. You know, that was the fight I saw with Rodriguez the against Mike Perry, and he just boxed him up completely. Now, granted, I think that Kevin Lee's boxing is probably better than Perry's, but still. Paquette said, "Glad she left peacefully. I was afraid that Koala was going to tear Fab apart." Shred Lord says, "But where does Kevin Lee fit into all of this?" I agree with you, mate. I do agree with you. Um, he's one of those guys like that at lightweight, he could do whatever as well. Like if he can make that weight at lightweight, he could do whatever as well. At welterweight, I think he can do well, but he was also a kind of guy that kind of fights like a bully as well. He fight when I say a bully, I don't mean that bully in the classical schoolyard mean person thing. I just mean he fights as a bully, like Khabib does, like Usman does, where they're generally the bigger guy that is going to get on top, is going to hurt you, out grapple you, out muscle you. That's how he fights. So I don't know that he can do it to the upper echelons of the welterweight division. That's my opinion. Whereas at middleweight, I mean at lightweight, I can see him doing that to a lot of people. Crazy to think that Lee and Barboza fought and they are two weight classes apart today. It is, isn't it? And that's the other thing. Like if you meet them both, I've seen them both in real life. Barboza is very muscular, but he's not a massive guy. He's very muscular, very athletic, but he's not a massive guy. He's kind of like Aldo. Like Aldo, like he's very muscular, but when I first saw him, and you look at his frame and everything, and I thought this guy could go down to bantamweight. Like he's little. He's not a big guy. Very very muscular, very athletic guys. If you see him, but not huge. But Kevin Lee, if you see him, he looks big, dude. When you see him in real life, like he's like a big dude, like a big, thick man. Um, like big, thick legs, broad, like real broad, real big. When I've seen him a couple of times in real life, and he's a big man. Mexi says, "What do you think of Stipe versus Garner fight? And the winner gets Francis. And how would you see Stipe and Garner matching up?" Honestly, I'd favor Stipe. I'd favor Stipe against just about anyone, even with Francis. Like I think that again, it's one of those things. Not so much of Stipe not being able to beat Francis or Francis being a better fighter. It's just can you stay out of the way of the power of Francis for 10 to 12 minutes, and then you'll see the skill set come out of Stipe. That's not to be disparaging towards Francis, because that's Francis's abilities, and if he can put it on you, he can put it on you, and that's the biggest thing. So I don't favor too many people above Stipe. Um, Marshall Smarter says, "How do you feel about specialists moving into MMA after 30?" I think it depends on your actual skill set, like who you are. Like theoretically, I'd say like someone like a Rodolfo Vieira. This is theoretically because he hasn't made the best transition, but someone like that with that kind of jiu-jitsu skill set, that he gets on top, blah, 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 he's wrestle heavy. He's got like 2 out of the 3 sort of things done. If the striking's right and you're able to transition to striking correctly, then he could do a lot of damage. Um, so yeah, it just depends. It depends on the level of athlete. It depends on your division. Like in heavyweights, a good specialist will do well. The lighter you get, I think it becomes harder and harder and harder. But a good specialist at heavyweight, I think, would do well. The heavier you are, I think it's probably a little better because there's also a big difference in the skill gaps. In heavyweights, you don't have a deep talent pool like you do at welterweight or something like that. At welterweight, it'd be hard to be an Olympic gold medalist in wrestling at 31, 32, and come out here and do well as far as like win a title. It'd be hard. It'd be hard. Not impossible, but just hard. Especially if you've done nothing else before. If you did no jiu-jitsu, no boxing. Now, if you're one Olympic gold medal at 30, but you grew up boxing and moving around and you got a good mind for combat, then you probably do well. So they're my answers. The heavier you are in weight, the better it's going to be for you because it's less people. The skill sets are not as deep. But it also depends, man, because there's specialists and there's specialists, and there's guys that it was an arbitrary decision to do wrestling or to do jiu-jitsu or whatever, they would have probably rather been fighting. Like Cormier comes to mind like that. Cormier comes to mind as someone that I think would have just been fighting if he could have. You know what I mean? It just so happened that wrestling was what was available to him. But I dare say he would have probably gone into quite a few fights on the way up. Um, Roy C says, I like Rodriguez, got the mentality for fighting and has shown the skills to back it up. I agree, mate. This guy impresses me. I think, well, let's see what happens in this fight. We are off, people. Rodriguez in the southpaw stance. Kevin Lee with a wide stance in the orthodox stance. I'm really excited for this fight. Body kick attempt by Lee and a teep by Lee. Rodriguez standing just outside of Kevin Lee's range, and he's able to slide in nicely behind some good hands. Did Rodriguez. Rodriguez doing a fantastic job. I don't know if people can see it, but he's bouncing in and out and then sliding out of the picture, and that is quite a hard thing to do. Goes looking for an inside leg kick himself, does Rodriguez. He just slides out, just out of the distance and hops outside of Lee's lead foot, which is what a southpaw wants to do. And I do believe he's going to set up a left-hand lead down the middle. Nice inside kick by Rodriguez. And Lee answers straight away with a body kick of his own. There's that left hand down the middle that I was talking about. Because what he's doing, he's sliding just out of the way and then stepping in and out behind. Seeing he gets his lead leg outside of Kevin Lee's. It's good boxing, man, from Rodriguez. Love it. I love watching this. Kevin Lee's a very, very strong man, physically strong man. You can see it. That thing that he's doing, that Rodriguez is doing, how he's sliding out of the way and then stepping outside, is very, very good. Right hand swing and a miss by Kevin Lee. Watch how he hops out and then he gets his right foot outside of Kevin Lee's lead foot, and then he hits back with either a 1-2 or just a 2. Now he's spun and he's kind of in the center of the octagon now. Goes looking for a jab on Kevin Lee and an inside leg kick. What this does as well, when you're sliding in and out like this, it makes it hard for Kevin Lee to also be able to gauge a takedown. That was a big right hand attempt by Kevin Lee as Rodriguez went for a left high kick himself. Kevin Lee hits him with a right high kick and then he attempts a takedown. He's in a body lock position now. He kind of went for a double leg, but he's in a body lock position. He had a nice underhook, but Rodriguez able to shrug him off. Nice little left hand by Rodriguez. Nice little jab by Rodriguez. Now, when he starts to find that range and he hits you on the end of his punch, it starts to get difficult for you. Nice little jab by Rodriguez. Another nice tidy jab. I love to see tidy boxing in MMA. I really, really do. Right hand over the top by Kevin Lee. Rodriguez managed to shoulder roll it. Nice single leg by Kevin Lee and turns it into a knee pick and gets the takedown on Rodriguez. This is where I believe Kevin Lee is absolutely devastating on top like this. Very, very good. He's got the correct underhook. It's in nice and deep. Rodriguez hasn't got the underhook, but he does have the bicep control. But from here, in this position, Kevin Lee would feel like two fridges, man. Kevin Lee's also doing a good job with his right leg of keeping Rodriguez's hips flat on the ground, as well as having the shoulder control to keep the shoulders pinned to the ground. So he's doing a fantastic job, is Kevin Lee, of keeping Rodriguez flat on his back. With 1 minute and 21 seconds to go, there is still enough time for Kevin Lee to do quite a bit of damage here. Really nice work by Kevin Lee. Good bicep control here by Rodriguez, not really letting Kevin Lee get off on any big shots here. But Kevin Lee's doing a good job keeping him flat on his back. Rodriguez looking for a lockdown here with the legs. He has got the lockdown that's stopping Kevin Lee from being able to move efficiently, but Rodriguez not really using the lockdown to do anything from that position. Kevin Lee's keeping that left leg pinned to himself so that he can't go deep on that half guard Rodriguez. Good job by Kevin Lee. I'm impressed by both guys. I'm impressed by Rodriguez's boxing, very crisp, very tidy, and I'm impressed by Kevin Lee's grappling. But again, it's nothing that I didn't know about both of these guys. Kevin Lee's grappling, I'm a real big fan of it. He's a really good grappler. 4, 3, 2, 1. So I'm just reading people's comments. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who's going to win this fight. It's an interesting kind of striker versus grappler matchup. But in fairness to the striker being Daniel Rodriguez, he has very good submissions as well. And in fairness to the grappler, he has very good striking. But he does. I'm always impressed with Daniel Rodriguez's boxing. He's got very, very tidy hands. They're about to start the second round. This is a good fight, man. There's been all good fights today. It's been all good fights. We are off. Again, Rodriguez now holding the center of the octagon a little more. Still in the southpaw stance. Nice body kick, and then he throws a good little flurry of combinations and an inside low kick. Nice work by Daniel Rodriguez. Nice work. Nice left rip to the body, left high kick. I like the fact that he's using that because that's a way that Kevin Lee's going to drop his level to shoot the double. So when he throws that inside leg kick and that left high kick, it's kind of keeping Kevin Lee at bay. It's also making Kevin Lee keep that right hand at home, which is a big weapon of Kevin Lee's. He does possess a lot of power in that right hand. I like he mixes up that inside leg kick, and then that left high kick, which is coming now. But Kevin Lee shoots nice and deep on this double leg. Rodriguez fighting hard to stop it. Kevin Lee's gone to a single leg, and he almost finished it, and he's finished it almost. Rodriguez still defending. He has to keep defending and make it as hard as possible for Kevin Lee. He looks to hit a switch. He's not going to get a switch on Kevin Lee. No. Great work by Kevin Lee. Great work. Is Rodriguez going to be able to get up? Rodriguez looking to get on all fours. Kevin Lee looks to take the back. Kevin Lee's back control is phenomenal. He has really, really good back control. But as I said that, Rodriguez spins and gets into the Kevin Lee's guard. Great job by Rodriguez. Great job. As soon as I said it, sorry to jinx you, Kevin Lee. But when he does take people's back, he does finish with chokes a lot of the times. Kevin Lee's doing a good job of not capitulating, being on the bottom, and working his way back to his feet. But see, that scramble, that whole effort there, that was only worked in Rodriguez's favor, in my opinion. You know, when you do hit a takedown like that, you really need to stop the momentum, and you really need to be able to start working. Kevin Lee lands a couple of nice jabs and a little right hand on Rodriguez. Rodriguez hits him with a cheeky right hand on the way out. Both guys exchanging. There's 2 minutes to go. It's very much anyone's round at this stage. Nice little jab lands by Rodriguez. Kevin Lee with a lead right hand. Rodriguez left hand lead. Doubles up on the jab does Kevin Lee. Nice little left hand and a right hand that land by Rodriguez. Inside leg kick lands by Rodriguez. Rodriguez feints with a left high kick and then comes over the top with a long hook, with a right long hook. Nice left hand lead lands by Rodriguez. Little check hook lands by Rodriguez. Inside leg kick lands by Rodriguez. Kevin Lee lands a right hand and Rodriguez landed one of his own. He's getting the better of the striking exchanges is Rodriguez. Lands a left kick. They've both gone to southpaw, but this is only going to benefit Rodriguez, I believe. Because he's landed two nice jabs, has Kevin Lee from the southpaw stance, but Rodriguez lands back a jab of his own. Both men fighting out of the southpaw stance. I think Rodriguez is going to start looking for outside leg kicks here. Kevin Lee's not going to stay in that southpaw stance for long. Inside leg kick lands. Oh, and then lands a pair of jabs. Does Rodriguez. Nice work. The jab, man. The jab is so underutilized in MMA. You know, and you see someone with a good jab start to land it. It's very, very, very good. Very effective. Kevin Lee lands a jab of his own, then gets hit with a left hand lead. Shakes his hand, says it didn't hurt, but I believe that it did. Rodriguez starting to find his range with 31 seconds to go. Rodriguez doing a fantastic job. Inside leg kick, and they both exchange, and Rodriguez has rocked Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee shoots a double leg. He's now in on a single leg. Rodriguez landing nice shots to the side of the head of Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee holding on for dear life. There's 11 seconds to go. Kevin Lee looks to change the angle on that takedown, but Kevin Lee's in a little bit of trouble. He's going to survive those. 3 seconds, 2, 1. Rodriguez definitely landed some good shots on Kevin Lee. Really, really landed some really good shots there. And right at the end of that round, he landed one that wobbled him. I don't know what the betting odds are, but I wouldn't have bet on Kevin Lee. Not because I don't think he's good, just because I don't think there's. I wouldn't have bet on Daniel Rodriguez either. I just think there's too much of how could I say to you? Like anything can happen in this fight. You know what I mean? Anything could happen at all in this fight. But I would lean towards Rodriguez, to be honest with you. And definitely going into the third, I kind of lean towards him. Kevin Lee could definitely win it. I think it's a round apiece. But that doesn't mean anything. Like I wouldn't bet, you know, because either one of them could do this. And then he lands that left hand. Boom! Lands a left hand right on the temple. And Kevin Lee's feet go. So we're off, people. Start of this round. Start of the last round. Rodriguez, very, very, very impressive, man. Very impressive. Leg body kick by Kevin Lee. Rodriguez hits him with a little check hook. He slides in and out of that space so well, does Rodriguez. Inside leg kick by Rodriguez. Goes high and then hits him with a nice hook on the way out. Hits him with another little jab. Kevin Lee goes looking for a high kick, doesn't get it. Inside, another pair of inside kicks by Rodriguez. Nice straight hand down the middle by Rodriguez. Inside kick again by Rodriguez. Kevin Lee goes looking for a takedown, but Rodriguez managed to sprawl in time and he framed, and then he hit Kevin Lee in the left with a left hand on the way out. Good pair of jabs landed by Rodriguez. Nice work by Rodriguez. Inside kick landed by Rodriguez. Left hand in the middle by Rodriguez. Jab by Rodriguez. Kevin Lee switches back to southpaw stance, so that both guys are fighting in southpaw. Nice leg kick lands by Kevin Lee. Wades in, but hits a single leg, does Kevin Lee. This could be a turning point of the fight. If he gets his takedown, he could steal this round. If Rodriguez is able to stop the takedown, he could steal the round. And I believe that he will if he can stop this takedown. He has to pop straight back up, does Rodriguez. Has to pop straight back up. Kevin Lee can still steal this round. Rodriguez has to keep framing and has to get up. He has to get up off that elbow. He has to get up off that right elbow. But he's starting to. He's starting to create some distance between he and Kevin Lee. If he can get that knee to the ground, Kevin Lee's still continuing to hold the legs. It's lucky that Rodriguez has skinny legs like me and Randleman. And Kevin Lee has big hands. Then he gets a body lock. Rodriguez has managed to get to his feet. There's 2 minutes and 32 seconds to go in this round. It is virtually anyone's fight, in my opinion. Kevin Lee's hanging on for dear life. Can Rodriguez get his back to the cage? He's got one arm in. He's got to get his back to the cage and turn. Get that underhook in, and he's managed to do so. This will have taken a lot out of Kevin Lee, but Rodriguez has to really come on and make him hurt. He has to get behind that jab of his. If he can start putting that jab on, he's going to hurt Kevin Lee. Kevin Lee looks a lot more fatigued. There's 2 minutes to go. Rodriguez lands another inside kick. Lands a stiff left hand that does Rodriguez. Kevin Lee has definitely slowed down. And that's the thing that happens with the grapplers, man. If they can't hold you down and solidify that position, it's going to be very, very difficult for him as when the person gets up. Kevin Lee goes looking for a flying knee. Oh, man, the way he's ducking his head and Rodriguez being thrown that left high kick, it's coming. Rodriguez lands a jab. There's 1 minute and 32 seconds to go. I believe that Rodriguez has to up his volume a little bit to solidify this win. Otherwise, still anybody's fight. Kevin Lee coming forward, but Rodriguez landing a bunch of jabs there. Kevin Lee shoots a double. Rodriguez sprawls and stops it. He comes forward. He has to attack Kevin now before Kevin can start to get his breathing back. He's landing a bunch of jabs on Kevin Lee's face now. Oh, Kevin Lee ducks again. I think this left high kick's coming from Rodriguez at some point here. Rodriguez is tired as well. Kevin Lee coming forward. Still anyone's fight. It's pretty close. Nice little left hand by Rodriguez. I have it around a piece going into the third round. Yes, there's that left high kick. Kevin Lee's cut above his eyebrow. Yeah, I have it around a piece with Rodriguez now, I believe, having run away with it a little bit. Kevin Lee just got out of the way of that uppercut by Rodriguez. Rodriguez is going to keep pressuring Kevin Lee for these last 20 seconds. Lands a 1-2 on Kevin Lee. A straight left hand by Rodriguez. Rodriguez behind a nice little jab. Kevin Lee looks to change his level. Rodriguez with a left kick down the middle. Kevin Lee is looking for a right high kick. Superman punch by Rodriguez. 3, 2, 1. Kevin Lee swings and a miss. And Rodriguez, I believe, won that round. So I believe that Rodriguez won that 2-1. I could be wrong. I wasn't scoring the fight. I was just watching the fight. But big fan of Rodriguez. I think so. I think Daniel Rodriguez won that fight by decision. Really, really, really nice fight as well. I'm enjoying the fights thus far. Then we got Ricky Turcios versus Brady Hiestand. I can't say those names. I believe so, Nicholas Bright. I think it was Rodriguez 2 and 3. I think. Um, I struggled to see how you could give Kevin Lee the second or the third round. I don't see how you could, but maybe somebody's thought different. The problem when you have the 10-point must system and you win by rounds is that I think Kevin Lee definitely won the first, and I think that Rodriguez definitely won the second and third. This is my opinion, but sometimes things go wrong. Jem Mizzi says so. Kevin Lee, he does great first rounds and gasses and get chicken legs and thinks he won at the end. Um, Look, Kevin Lee's a very good fighter. I think that he'd probably do. I think he'll do better at 155. I don't know if he can make that weight comfortably or not. He's a very big guy. Um, I think he's going to struggle his style of fighting at welterweight because, like I said, he fights that like the Khabib style, that bully style, where they're big, strong wrestle grapplers that want to get on top of you, and hurt you. And it's hard to do that with guys that are just bigger guys, frame wise. Daniel Rodriguez, great work. Great work. Great fight. Really, really good fight. Really nice, tidy boxing. And you don't see enough of them, man. You don't see enough people with a nice, tidy jab doing what they do. TJ says, I feel like I've watched this same Kevin Lee. Yeah, I mean, Kevin Lee, like I said, I think he's more effective at lightweight because he's just a bigger, stronger guy at lightweight. But I mean, I don't know if he can make that weight anymore. I think he might have to fight at welterweight. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not in his camp, so I don't know. Nicholas Bright says, "Man, Felder looking like a middleweight now." Yeah, man. If he's not fighting, he'll have put on. He probably walks around at 85, 90 kilograms right now as a lightweight for sure. He'd walk around at that. I'll be back in a second, people. Dreamer Knight says if you Google Vin Diesel, the host does look like him. Oh my god! I think if you see me in real life, I think I look more like Dave Chappelle than Vin Diesel. Um, yeah, I mean, it was a good fight, man. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed that fight. It was, you know, pretty. I'm just watching this guy do a fireman's workout. So now we have Ricky Turcios versus Brady Heisten. I'm just going to call them Ricky and Brady. Oliver Ekman says, "I'm back, boys. Sorry I'm late." Well, we're glad to have you back, sir. So we've got a bantamweight, a middleweight, and the featherweight main event. Oliver Ekman says, "Let's go, Ricky." Why do you go for Ricky, Oliver? Why the connection with Ricky? Pretty Ricky. Joseph says, "That's a fight to make. Dev versus Chappelle." Nah, Chappelle's too young still, man, and too good, too in shape, too big. He could catch me or something. In fairness, I have very bad knees, man. I have really bad knees. That's why if you can give me like I said, a Morgan Freeman, a Danny DeVito, something like that, I'm interested. They're the fights that excite me right now. You know, like I said, Danny DeVito, Freeman, Streep, Streep. I'll fight Streep. No Streep. Who else? Um, just trying to think. There's a few interesting fights like the Oprah. People like that, I'd fight. Petty White. Um, yeah, people like that. They're good fights for me. You know what I mean? Um, there's got to be a few others out there that but I can't think of them. Is I find that this card, for whatever reason, like it's not bad. Like the fights are pretty good. I just find it's going slower than usual. Have they got? Is there an extra fight, or are they just taking really long before between fights? One, two, three. Oh, okay, there's six fights. I think usually there's only five. It just feels a little longer. It feels like it's taking a little longer than usual. So really, I think in Muradov we lost the prospect. Um, Gerald Gerald Meerschaert did a good job of taking away that prospect. I don't see Gerald as a force in the middleweight division. In fairness, without being with all due respect to him, but I just don't see him as a force in that division. So, and I don't see Petroski beating any of the top end guys either. Um, so that's just me. That's just my. I'm really impressed with Daniel Rodriguez at welterweight though so far in the fights thus far. That's the one that I'm really, really interested in because that's the one that I was like, wow, that's a pretty. He's pretty good, man. He's only lost a couple of fights, has Rodriguez, and he's beaten a lot of decent guys. Beat Tim Means, he's beat Dwight Grant, lost to Nicholas Dalby, but that was a decision. Beat Mike Perry, beat Preston Parsons, and just beat Kevin Lee. Then so he's looking good. He's an interesting guy. Interesting guy. Good to keep your eye on him. It does seem like it's just taking longer and longer and longer. Ricky is the favorite, my understanding. Oliver Ekman says Ricky has a very unique style. I'm not that familiar with these guys. I don't really watch the Ultimate Fighter that much. Ricky's about to enter the octagon. Former IKF World Muay Thai Champion is Ricky Turcios. Very, very interesting. Marshall Smarter says Sleek and Torch. Okay, I haven't seen him. I haven't seen it. I didn't watch the thing. So I'm interested. This will be the first I see of these two guys. And Brady. Okay, Ricky's a little taller. They have the same reach, but Brady's 22 and Ricky's 28. Okay. So Ricky's more or less coming towards his peak. And Brady's a young whippersnapper. Oliver Ekman says, well, you would think it's going to be Tricky Ricky instead of Pretty Ricky. Shretlord says, co-stream for Paul versus Woodley. From my understanding, Woodley's tomorrow, man. So, yeah. Marshall Smarter says, sick. I like the Thai champ crossover. My favorite standing style personally. I think, yeah, if you're good at it, you know what I mean? Like, if you're good at putting it across, like, it's brutal, man. Muay Thai is absolutely brutal. Um, Juice says, nah, his nickname should be Juice. Too far, mate. Too far. Too far, Juice. Put the alcohol down, Juice. What's happened to you, mate? You were such a good boy before. So he's definitely the favorite. Is Pretty Ricky. Royce C says, I have no idea about these tough fights. I used to love it in the mid thousands or whatever it is, but couldn't really stand it much after the smashes. To be honest with you, I've never really watched it. I watched the Nate Diaz one, the one where he was in it, but I've never really watched it before or after. We're off, people. We're off. We got the start. They touch gloves. Both men in an orthodox stance. Big leg kick by Ricky. Um, Brady looks to get the clinch, and he has got the clinch. Big knees in the clinch by Ricky. Good pair of knees. Good pair of knees. Big right hand at the top by Ricky. Brady keeping the pressure coming forward. Hits him with a little left hook. Oh, nice right hand at the top by Brady. Brady again looking for this clinch and the takedown. Rides him over to the ground. Does Brady. But Ricky gets back up. Body lock and a takedown by Brady. Nice work. His inside control is Brady. Create some shoulder pressure here. He's got good side control here in this position. But he's made enough space, has Ricky, to be able to get his guard back. And he's managed to do that. Good job. Got his foot on the hips, tried to kick up. He's got elevated him with hooks, and he's almost back to his feet. But great job by Brady by pressuring him and getting him back down to the ground and passing the guard once again. He's got long legs, very flexible. Is Ricky did a good job and got himself up. He's upstanding again, and again big body lock, and he's going to get the takedown again. Is Brady, and he does it. He got the takedown again. The problem is, man, like I say it every single time. When you expend the amount of energy it takes to get a takedown, and the person doesn't capitulate it, now he has. Now Ricky has more or less given him the takedown. You know what I mean? But when the guy doesn't stop and he keeps getting back up and everything, you don't get a chance to rest. Triangle attempt by Ricky, but I don't think he's going to get it because Brady was too upright already. And he's landed quite a few strikes there. Has Brady, but this is a hard pace to fight for 15 minutes. It's very very hard for Brady to keep this kind of pace for 15 minutes. With a guy that I would only have to assume reverse crossover by Ricky to defend that single leg, I would have to assume he's the better striker out of the two. And that's what happened with the middleweights when they fought. If Gilmore had a little bit better striking than than what he did, I think he could have really given Petroski some issues. Now Ricky has taken the back. Brady's trying to turn. I think Brady might be able to turn back into this guard. I think he will. I don't know that Ricky. I can't see what's happening there. Yeah, he did. He did manage to turn back into the guard. Again, he throws up that triangle, does Ricky. But again, Brady's already kind of too upright for him to land in here. I don't think he's going to get this armbar. He might be able to turn it into an omoplata, but I don't think he's going to turn it in time. But he has cut Brady. He has cut Brady with some elbows from the bottom. And he uses the hooks rather well to be able to get back to his feet. But you also have to start to think, whilst this is hard on Brady, you also have to think it's also starting to wear away the arms and legs of Ricky being in these grappling exchanges. It's going to be who can handle the transition from grappling to striking to grappling the best in this fight, it seems. Nice right hand over the top by Brady. 44 seconds to go. Nice little left high kick by Brady. They're both exchanging. 32 seconds to go. Nice. Both guys landing some right hands. Ricky with a little bit of showboating here. Nice in the clinch, lands some knees. Oh, Brady lands a little uppercut of his own. 9 seconds to go. The volume of striking now coming from Ricky. Both guys landing. I don't know. I think Brady probably won that round. I don't know. It's hard for me to gauge. Yeah, it's the pace they're fighting at is pretty insane. That's a hard fight to. That's a hard pace to fight at, man. Real hard fight. I like that because your muscles, man, get full of blood. Then it's hard for you to really strike. It's hard for you to be able to tear off like that. I'm about to start again. We're off, people. We're off. We're off. No glove touch. No glove touch. Brady comes forward again, looking for the takedown, looks for a double leg, reverse cross face from Ricky. Both guys swinging. Brady's doing a great job of closing that distance and not giving Ricky the space to be able to hit him with those strikes. They're both fighting here for this clinch. Ricky did a good job of defending it. And now Brady's coming forward with the strikes himself. He drops his level and comes up with that uppercut. It's nice work by Brady. Ricky goes looking for a takedown of his own. Nice double leg deep is Brady. Gets the takedown on Ricky. Nice work. He's defending this with like a kind of Kimura is Ricky, but the problem here is I think in these positions Brady's always going to come off in the scramble. He's just really good at it. You know, he's a good wrestler, obviously, and generally, unless you got very very good jiu-jitsu, like the Kimura defense, a Kimura trap, is a great defense against takedowns. But you have to be a good grappler, otherwise the other guy's going to get the better of the positions anyways. But the Kimura trap itself is a very, very good defense for the takedowns. It's 3 minutes to go. It's nice little right hand there as he drops his level. Right hand over the top by Brady. Oh, nice left hand by Brady. Nice left hand by Ricky. Ricky's talking, but he's also eating shots here. He's talking, showboating a lot, but he is eating a lot of shots. Oh, he hits the double leg. Nice double leg whizzer from Brady. He gets the back, does Ricky. Ricky's got the back, but I do think that Brady's going to be able to shake him off and come out the back door. He has managed to do that. He's holding on tight, is Ricky, but he wasn't able to capitalize on that takedown. And now Brady gets a takedown, and he's on top, and he's almost past the guard. I think he will be able to pass it. No, he won't. Ricky's starting to feel the pace of this fight in particular, I think, out of the two of them. Brady's really putting the pace on, and I thought that he was going to probably fall off because he's the one that's initiating the takedowns. But he seems to, like, after this takedown there, after that scramble, Ricky kind of slowed a little bit. He's using his hooks really, really well. Oh, he did a great job. He elevated Brady, got him off him, but Brady's managed to get back to his feet. He's looking for this single leg. Ricky's looking for a guillotine. He's jumped to guillotine. And Brady rolled out of the guillotine and he's back on that single leg. He's popped his head out of the guillotine. Ricky's looking for this triangle. He won't be able to get it because Brady's holding the other leg. And Brady has passed his guard again. These guys are fighting at a stupid pace. Like, it's a hard pace to fight like this at this level, 1 minute to go. Brady's winning the grappling exchanges. But Ricky's now he's got one of his arms trapped, kind of makeshift crucifix. But Ricky does a good job. He's looking for that single leg, looking to get back to his stomach, and he does. But Brady hits him with a front headlock. 35 seconds to go. Ricky's now put Brady up against the cage. And they're going head to head, and Brady's landing some uppercuts, and so is Ricky. Ricky's landed a pair of uppercuts now. He's landing a whole bunch of uppercuts now on Brady, but with not a whole bunch on him. I don't know who wins this round. I have no idea who is winning this round. I have no idea. They're swinging for the fences now. 6 seconds to go. Ricky's postulating for the crowd, but he ate a couple of uppercuts. and that's the round. I don't know. I don't know who won that round. I think the first round, from memory, I think the first round goes to Brady. The second round could have gone to Ricky. I don't know. It's tough. It's tight. It's a really tough fight. I don't know. I don't know. I can't really think of it. Marshall Smarter says he's going to be a good jiu-jitsu guy if he spends more time doing that good variety of attacks, instincts. Just finishing mechanics are rough. Yeah, he definitely does look like he's got the potential to do, like he's got long legs, flexible. He's got, he's able to recover guard and whatnot. But I don't know this fight, what's going to happen. I just don't know. I don't know who's winning this fight. I mean, it could be a draw. It could be Brady winning both rounds. It could be Brady didn't win the first. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know how the judges are scoring it. Axis Power Diesel says, "Did that doctor really bend Rob over, Fab?" I've already spoken about it on the podcast. I'm not going back over it, mate. It was a very, 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 very traumatizing time for me as well. Ricky goes looking for a front kick, doesn't land. Oh, nice combination there, lands by Brady. You'll have to re-watch it, my friend, and tell me what you think, Axis. Oh, they're both standing in the pocket and landing some shots there, man. This is a crazy fight. I can't tell you who's winning. Oh, it drops his level, hits him with an uppercut, does Brady. Oh, nice little check hook by Brady. Oh, nice little right hand by Ricky. Ricky's coming in. Oh, Ricky drops him. Ricky dropped him. Ricky dropped him with a right hand. Brady's holding on with a single leg. Oh, Ricky dropped him with a right hand. Very interesting. Now Brady takes him down. He's able to take him down. He's got Ricky's head up against the cage. Ricky's got those butterfly hooks in. Great job by Ricky to get that drop. But great job by Brady to then get the takedown after that. Tries to slap the eardrum, does Ricky, and that is really, really, really painful. I'm telling you now. Really good work here. The way he's tying up that other leg, see behind him, makes it hard for Ricky to get to his feet. There's 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. But Ricky's now getting up before Brady was able to, landing big elbows, but Brady takes his legs out from under him. He's in deep, but Ricky's doing everything he can to defend, everything he can to defend the takedowns. Brady's doing a good job as well because Brady knows he has to like survive this. He got hit, he got dropped. He's doing a good job of trying to clear his head. Ricky goes to hit the switch, and he almost did, but then Brady comes back around and hits a double leg again. And he just continues to fight for these takedowns, and he's got the takedown. He's done a really, really good job. He's very, very, very impressive as a wrestler. Very impressive. Just continuing to wrestle. Ricky's trying to elevate him and possibly go for either a sweep or a leg lock. He's got the sweep. He's got an up. Ooh, he threw that knee left hook by Brady. There's 2 minutes to go. Brady did a fantastic job surviving getting dropped. Ricky keeps going. He gets hit with a little left hook in the pocket there. I really like the grappling exchanges between both these guys. I really like it. Oh, nice elbow in the pocket there by Ricky. Absolutely fighting their hearts out, these two guys. Oh, left high kick by Brady, and then he hits him with a jab. Both boys hitting each other hard in these exchanges. Brady hits him with a left hook of his own. Brady goes looking for a right hand and misses it. Brady with a little knee, right hand by Ricky. 1 minute to go. 57 seconds to go in this round. Man, these guys are exhausted. I still think this fight's up for grabs. I don't know which way it's being scored. I don't know who's winning. I see Ricky winning this round because he dropped him, of course, but he's still coming on pretty good. So I think he won this round. But man, what a fight. But there's 29 seconds to go. Like, I mean, Brady's not, by no means is it a foregone conclusion. Like, I mean, Brady can still get something here. Nice. He keeps hitting him with his little left hook. Ricky's got a bit of a chin on him, though. Both boys do. 15 seconds to go. I don't think anyone's going to get finished here. Man, both guys swinging for the fences. 6 seconds to go. They're both guys going. Ricky's coming forward. That's the bell. Wow. I don't know who won that fight. Yeah, I agree with you, Marshall Smartest. Lots of maturity out of the young stuff. Very, very much so. Like he's got a really bright future ahead of himself if he wants it, you know. Um, and it looks like he does. So wow, what a fight! That was an absolute war. That was an absolute war. To think how much this kid can improve too. See, I don't see a lot of guys like both these guys. Like I see that kid that especially the 22-year-old at bantamweight can be a force, you know, like in the coming years. If he, you know, because he's so young, dude, he can improve so much. You know, if he gets a little bit tidier with his hands, a little bit better with his kicks, a little bit better with his jiu-jitsu, he can do some really nice things in the UFC. But I haven't seen a lot of prospects like that that are coming through, like young guys that are coming through. I haven't seen anyone like at middleweight or that I can think of at light heavyweight right now that have that sort of thing where you go, wow, this guy's going to be good. Because this guy, I think, has all the potential to be good, to be very, very good. Um, wow, it was an interesting fight. Says significant strike, 65-41 in favor of Ricky. Again, I don't always know the significant strikes, you know, how they scored necessarily. But I was really impressed. I don't know who won. I really don't know who won. If you look at it like this, like it looks like Ricky won that fight if you look at it on paper, but it will depend on how you score it. But in the 10-point must system, I'd say Ricky did not win the first. The second round was a toss up, and the third round was won by Ricky. That's how I have it. The second round, I kind of feel that he might have done enough Brady to win. I don't know, but Ricky won the third. Marshall Smarter says, I'm taking the unorthodox stance that Ricky won, and he did. He did win by split decision. It was it was a good fight, man. It was a good fight. Axis powered Diesel says, what time is it in the bush? I am not sure what time it's in the bush, but for me today it's 10 past 2. I don't know what he's saying. Ben C says, "Great stream, Fab. Keep it up. Thank you, sir." That was a good fight, man. That was a pretty crazy fight. We've still got two fights to go. We're still. It just feels like this one's dragging on, and I think it was the extra fight. Maybe I don't know, but the extra fight didn't last that long. So I don't know. It just feels like this card is dragging on. I don't know exactly why. I don't know if they're taking a long time. Maybe it's the post fight speeches and that's making it just drag on a little bit longer than it usually does. Now we've got Brian Battle versus Gilbert Urbina. That's going to be an interesting one as well. I don't know. He's giving a massive speech. I don't know what he's saying. Nicholas Bright says, "I got to miss the last two fights. Thanks for the stream, Fab." Thank you, sir. Thank you for watching. Maybe when you're going somewhere, you can listen to it and I can tell you what's happening. Chuck Les says, "That's why I started liking Ricky on the show. He fights and he's a character. He's a good fighter, man. He's a very good fighter." Jason Correa says, "Know what I'm saying." Marshall Smarter says, "Pretty great speech, actually." Yeah, I can't hear. I can't hear what he's saying. I can't hear what the speech is. Um, but he seems like a good guy. Marshall Smarter says, "Anyway, he'll get that. He'll get what?" Oh, Ucha. Okay, sorry. I just seen what you wrote. I didn't see it in order. Volkanovski versus Ortega. Man, Volkanovski's a strong little guy, man. I'm just watching him beat people up. Such a physically strong guy, man. Yeah, you know what it is? It's stretched out longer with all the advertisements and that. It's more than usual. Marshall Smarter says Volker is a monster. Chuck Les says Rick's speech was about peace on earth and everyone being one people and that we should love each other. Well, I have to agree with him on that, my friend. I have to agree with him. Ortega versus Volkanovski. I don't see Ortega beating Volkanovski, to be honest with you. I don't see it. I see Volkanovski just being a bit too much standing up. Um, Best by far says, "Is it over yet?" No, there's two fights to go. TJC says, "Hell of a speech by Ricky T. One of the best I've heard in a while. Peace and love to everyone." Good for him. Good for him. Marshall Smarter says, "I like the part telling kids to dream big and not being afraid to fail." Yeah, good for him. Good for him. I think there's going to be quite a big difference in the striking between Ortega and Volkanovski. Quite a bit. Anthony B says, "How do you as a coach tell if someone has a lot of potential? Do you treat them differently?" Yeah, treat everyone differently, but like I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You know, there are people that, But it depends by what metric you gauge everything, like, so say for example, if you think that by me treating you differently, it's because of, like, I'll treat my accountant and my mum different. You know what I mean? Like, if I want financial help or work with numbers, with money, then I'm going to listen to my accountant. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to listen to my mum as much as I love her, so I'm going to be treating them differently. So if someone comes through the door and they've got the potential, and by potential, it's not just um, and potential for what? Because somebody might come in, might not be as talented, might not be as good, and might not be the UFC champion, or might not be anything great, like as far as technically or tactically or whatever. He might not win competitions, but they might be a fantastic jiu-jitsu coach. Like, they might end up being a fantastic jiu-jitsu coach, really good person. And so, yeah, I'm going to treat them, both those guys, differently. I'm going to treat the guy that, he'll teach classes at my gym for me, that he'll, be someone that we might even be better friends. But then there's the other guy that might be super talented, and obviously we get along well enough, but super talented, etc. Then you're going to put more effort in him or her being a future champion, and not really going to waste your time with that person uh, to run classes for you, for example. You know what I mean? So yeah, you treat them different, but everyone's going to be good at different things. So I yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Yeah, so some not everyone has the talent to go the whole way, and you can see that with people. You can see some people, you go, holy shit, this guy, he's got that, he's or she's got that, to go the whole way. And there's other people that don't. But there's, like I said, there's people that are good at things that others aren't. It depends what metric you use. If it's big UFC champion or bust and you don't have the talent for it, then fuck, man. It's like me putting in all the effort to play classical Spanish guitar. It's a waste of time for me. But even if I put heaps of effort into it, and I became pretty good at it, I can put 1/10 of that effort into stuff that I'm good at and do really, really well. Um, Joseph says, I thought I was going to see Coach Fad cameo on Vox promo, telling everyone about his secret stretching technique from his dad from a small town in China. Smash Smarter says, gets his black belt and a UFC contract. Luke says, damn, I thought it was a main event next. Now, one more. What do you guys think, Barboza or Giga? It's a tough one, man. I think Barboza early on is very, very dangerous, and he's possibly the better out of the two early on. Um, But as the fight progresses, I think Giga will probably do a little better. But I don't know. And hands wise, up close, Barboza doesn't have the best hands like that. Doesn't like it when he gets hit. So maybe Giga. 266 picks. What do you think of Dan Hooker on the prelims? Um, I don't know, but I think Dan Hooker's going to win that fight. Like, he's going to beat that dude up pretty bad. Joseph says, shout out to Urbina's mullet, man. Yes, sir. Anyone else in the chat stoked about Cristiano Ronaldo coming home to Man United? I wasn't even aware of that. Anthony B says, thanks for the input, Fab. Great points. Yeah, I think that there's, going back to what we are just talking about, I think there's too much of this thing where people, like, not everyone's going to make it, dude. Not everyone's going to make it in that particular field, and sometimes you're not, it's not, it's, you're not, you actually, by telling people that they can do something that they can't, you're not actually helping them reach their talent, because their talent might be in something else, and they're putting in all this effort trying to get to somewhere where they're not going to get it, man. Like, it's not going to happen for them. um and you might, if you stop for a second and you recognize, hold on a second, this person they're actually very talented at coaching, or they love being on the mats, they love doing jiu-jitsu, they're just not good at competition, man. They can't compete that well. But rather than spending all that time trying to compete and trying to blah 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 blah, maybe they could spend all that time building a set of gyms. They've got a good mind for business. They could have 2, 3, 4, 5 gyms in 10 years, and they'll do a lot better than if they were just trying to compete. And maybe, yeah, maybe they get a lot better and they get to, I don't know, be runner up in Australia or win Australian nationals, and they spent all this time and all this effort into doing something that really is not going to make them like that's not the big difference for them. Whereas if they spent all that time just coaching and teaching jiu-jitsu and running gyms, they could be a lot more successful. Um, Marshall Smarter says, Fab, all this talk about talent recognition says is making me feel self-conscious. But in fairness to you, just from what I know of you and the situation that I have, you have more talent than most people across the board. And so you're one of those people that don't get to fucking have a cry about it. You know what I mean? Um, so that's the other thing, man. A lot of the times we don't recognize our own talents, you know. Sometimes we always looking at other people and going, fuck, I wish I could be that person. But I've worked with enough elite level athletes that before I worked with them, you kind of have that feeling of like, man, I would love to be you. You know what I mean? Like I'd love to have that talent. And then like you're dealing with this dude and you're like, man, I wouldn't swap me for you no matter how much money you get. Like no matter how much. I'd love to have your physical gifts, don't get me wrong, but I wouldn't want to like be that what's in your head because you look at people, man, and you think, you know, I watched a documentary the other day, the Bruce Jenner thing, the Bruce Jenner doco, and you think like you looked at him when he was a decathlete, he won the gold medal, and you think like this dude has it all together. He's like a good looking dude, won the gold medal, you know, best athlete on the planet, smart guy, well spoken, and he didn't have it all together, not even by a long shot. So I don't know. That's what I'm saying to you is like, you know, we if the metric that you're using for talent is whether you win a gold medal or not, or whether you win the UFC belt, it's a very small metric, and you're always going to come up short. You know, so not everyone is. And I get heaps of there's over the years that I've coached people, man, there's heaps of kids where, you know, we sit down and I say to them, look, man, you're going to spend what is it that you want to get out of it? If you say to me, I just want to compete and see how far I go, but I also got a good chance of, you know, finishing this uni degree and blah, 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 then I'll say to them, yeah, man, do that. Do that. Train as hard as you can, go as far as you can, but make sure you get a trade or a uni degree or whatever. And I'd say that to everyone anyways. But there's other guys that I've sat down with them and I've said, dude, like, yeah, look, you can always come back and do uni, but right now is an opportunity for you to, you know, take that opportunity. You know what I mean? Like right now, like you're that talented. There's differences, you know. TJC says, I saw Gable Stevenson was saying he's interested in competing in the UFC. Would love to see what he can do in a year or so with some training. Yeah, he's a monster, dude. He's a fucking monster. Roy C says, most of my books about talent is shaped by the book How Champions Are Made by Matthew Syed, the former British table tennis champ, an excellent read. I haven't read that, and I'm not going to give an opinion on something I haven't read. The problem as well that happens with our society is that we read stuff about people that are champions. Like I listened to an interview with Shaq the other day, and he was talking about how he's not talented. He just put in hard work. And I think, dude, you're fucking 7'2" or 7 foot something. You weigh 140 kilograms, and you've got I don't know how high of a fucking vertical. How do you not think that you're talented? I get that you worked hard as well, but it's also very hard for people that are talented to gauge the work that they do is not that amazing. Like you could, I've trained a lot of elite level athletes. What they do for what they're capable of doing is not really that hard. You know, it's harder for people less talented to try and keep up with them, and they still wouldn't be able to do the amount of work. So, um, yeah, it's just interesting, man. Like I haven't done a thesis on it or anything, but I have a lot of anecdotal evidence, like just with watching people, you know. Like don't get me wrong, the other thing that people say as well is um like oh talent beats hard work. I mean hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. Yeah, you know, but that's not what you're comparing. You're comparing talent when talent works hard, you can't, man. You can't make strawberry jam out of pig shit. Otherwise, you'd have like the hardest working Chihuahua beating greyhounds in a fucking in a race, and it's not going to happen, mate. It isn't going to happen. Now, of course, you get a greyhound that doesn't want to run. Yeah, Chihuahua's going to beat it, but otherwise, not happening, mate. Not happening. Not happening. And the thing as well is talent isn't rare. People just waste it all the time. You see a lot of good guys. You see a lot of good talented guys that don't work hard, that don't want to do stuff. That's different again. That's different again. What's TLDR was need hard work and good luck. What do you mean? I don't understand what you wrote. TLDR was need hard work and good luck. Yeah, I think teaching kids as well to recognize the talent within themselves and not comparing themselves to other people. I think that's a big one. That's why like as well people go, you can be anything you want, and like the chances of my daughter playing in the men's NBA are fucking zero. She's going to be like a little Asian girl, you know. She might be, she might be a great. She might be good at basketball. She might be good at um, gymnastics. She might be good or whatever. She might be a doctor. She might just like painting. I think rather teaching kids to not be scared to fail, teaching kids to find what they love and what their talent is, which they'll find by finding what they love, and don't worry about what other people are doing. Don't compare yourself to other people. Just love what you're doing and enjoy what you're doing. I think is more important than saying like you can do anything, because no, you can't, dude. You know what I mean? There's things you're not going to be able to do, and you need to understand that, and you need to be okay with that. You know what I mean? You need to be okay with that and love who you are and what you're capable of doing. TJ says a good friend of mine is a retired Navy SEAL. I asked if he could compete in MMA. He said he wouldn't do well because of the rules. The way he said it was scary, laughing my ass off. Yeah, well, MMA is a sport. You know what I mean? Roy C says too long, didn't read. Liam says just makes me think of Gaston refusing to dedicate himself to making welterweight. I don't know that he can make welterweight, man, and I don't know how lazy he is. Like how people saying that. He's not small, man. I've met him. I've been with him for I don't know 8 weeks. He's not a little guy. Marshall Smarter says Pip Dennison says you can't make strawberry jam out of pig shit. Marshall Smarter says, how about self doubt for work ethic? What do you mean by that, Marshall Smartest? Sweat Lord says, think you are right. Feels like hours between fights. Yeah, man. I mean, we've covered some deep topics, in between fights. What do you mean, Marshall Smartest? They touch gloves. It's a battle of the mullets. Both guys in the orthodox stance. Both guys swinging for the fences early on. They have. I have to give battle. I have to give battle the advantage in the mullets. Is just so much more creative with it. Ooh, they're fighting in the clinch. Gilbert Urbina's a tough dude, man. Wow. Nice takedowns by Urbina. Wow. I'm impressed. Thus far, I'm impressed. Did anyone watch the show? Did he? How'd he go? Straight away, he's looking for that key lock as well. Is Gilbert? I thought he was. I couldn't. No, but now he's got that wrist lock. Battle's doing a good job of fighting to get out of it. He's in deep on this guillotine. Let's go. The guillotine. Gilbert's just swarming him, absolutely mauling him. Nice work by Gilbert. Very impressive display of wrestling and grappling by Gilbert. Gilbert looks like he's going to be able to do some damage at middleweight. And I like the way that dirty boxing occurred in the clinch from Gilbert a second ago. Bryan's a very tough guy, man. Just to even mentally stay in that. Nice right kick by Bryan. Gilbert fighting at southpaw stance, switches back to orthodox. I'm impressed with Gilbert. I'm really impressed. Thus far, anyways. Oh, nice big right hand by Bryan. But see, knowing what I know about the middleweight division and the just like Rob, Israel, those kind of guys, I don't see these guys being able to beat them or to compete with them. Like the top two guys at middleweight are very, very good by any metric. Oh, nice right hand by Bryan. Bryan's coming back a little bit. Nice. Gilbert's so aggressive, man. Goes looking for a body lock takedown. Switches switches levels. His hands are locked, but Bryan's got he's got the underhooks in. He's got kind of like a crossface here. I don't know if Gilbert's going to switch angles. He does. He takes it back. He's looking to ride. Good. He might be looking for a broomstick sweep here. 1 minute, 10 seconds to go. He has to get his back to the wall, does Bryan. Bryan now switches it on him. Nice work. Man, these guys are fighting hard, man. They're fighting hard. They're in this clinch, dirty boxing, throwing knees. Nice little uppercut landed there by Gilbert. Bryan has got him up against the cage, and he's doing a good job. Bryan looks like he's landed some nice, clean, hard strikes. Oh, nice elbow landed by Urbina. Bryan just ate it. 6 seconds to go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Time. What a round. What a round. Crazy round. I don't know who won that one. There's a mouth guard on the floor. I think Gilbert started off really, really well. Some big shots were landed by both guys. I don't know who won that round. Marshall Smarter says, doubting if you're doing enough, not doing enough, realizing it. I think that's very common, man, for a lot of people. You know, it's really, really common. And I think the more like introspective you are, the more that's going to be present in your head. And having dealt with a lot of high end athletes, they're very gifted. They've already, like throughout their life, they already know that they're capable of it. And sometimes that even leads to like a delusion, like where they just, and you have to have it, otherwise you probably wouldn't compete in it. And that's one of the things that I think sometimes they don't have it as badly or as readily as those people that are overthinkers and very, very analytical. But they do, but you know, different skills and whatnot. But I've noticed that I don't see a lot of that overthinking necessarily with a lot of the top end fighters, the top end athletes that I've dealt with, not because they're necessarily anything. Just it's just something I don't see it as much. Not I don't see it ever. I just don't see it as much. Nice high kick attempt by Battle. Oh, Battle hits him with a nice left hook. Oh, Battle's got a chin on him, man. Bryan has hit him. Gilbert has hit him a couple of times with big right hands, big blast double by Gilbert, and he's taken the back of Bryan Battle. Gilbert jumps on his back. He's gonna. I was gonna say he's gonna slip off, but it's smart of Gilbert to be able to go, um, to be able to recognize that and jump off the back the way that he did. He didn't sit there just trying to catch it. Now they both these guys just bang in the phone booth, man, with elbows and punches and knees. They're so vicious, these two dudes, man. Oh, spinning elbow attempt by Gilbert. Now Bryan Battle takes him down, but Gilbert pops straight back up. No, he doesn't. He doesn't go into high parterre. He's definitely slowed down a tad, and this has allowed Urbina to this allowed Bryan Battle to get one hook in and land some ground and pound while he's got some wrist control here. Urbina definitely slowed down. Bryan Battle's in deep on this. Yeah, he's in deep, man. He's going to get this choke. He's going to get it because Urbina's not defending with anything. He's not defending. He's not defending. He's not defending with his arms. Now he's starting to defend with his arms. It's over. That was the round. He let it. He let it get in too far. Marshall Smarter says, yeah, in psychology, there are negative biases and positive biases in cognition that make sense. Another dimension of individual differences. Yeah, man, I've got mates. I've got like where I see, like I've got mates that are really like high end, like good like high level big wave surfers. That I've had over the years. I've had friends, and now more closely I work with them. And if you doubt for a second that you going to get smashed on these waves, or what's going to happen, or do I take off or do I not take off, you just wouldn't do it. And it's not, and people say, yeah, but they've been surfing since they're young. No, I know guys that have been surfing the same amount of time as them, better surfers technically, that won't surf big waves like that. They don't charge like crazy ass big waves. Um, and that's like a real extreme example, because you can see it. Like if that person thought about what they were doing, like me, like if you said to me, this is what an opportunity to do this or that or whatever, I'd look at that wave and go, dude, it's breaking on rock, it's breaking on 20 centimeters of water on coral and rock. No, I'm not gonna, like, the chances of me, there's no upside to it. What's the point? They don't think like that, man. They're not wired like that. They don't have that thing that makes them think, well, what could I do? What all the other things. There's an interesting podcast I did with Mark Matthews and Richie Vass, two guys that I know that are big wave surfers. Richie fought in the UFC as well, and Richie is very much, he charges, whereas Mark Matthews is an overthinker. But Mark Matthews is, like, more successful in the big wave surfing game. Um, and the combination of the two of them working together a lot of times helps a lot, because they can sort of come to that happy medium. It's an interesting thing. Like it it helps. Like you said, there's positive and there's negative biases to both of those things. And then it depends what all your other combinations are of you as a person. Like, it doesn't help you, because in our society we only read, or we only know about the guys that make it. You don't hear about the people that don't. So you don't hear about the people that um, don't overthink stuff, and believe in themselves 100%, blah 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 blah, all that stuff, and don't have the physicality to match it, and get knocked out 5 fights in a row. You never hear of them again. You don't even know who they are. And that, unfortunately, is the majority of people. It's not, the majority of people aren't Anderson Silva. So there's a lot of people that don't have, they have all that stuff, but they don't have the physicality to match it. So it's not gonna help you. Um, Roger V says, does Volkanovski beat Ortega? I think Volkanovski beats Ortega. I think so. Does Volkanovski win yeah. Liam says, last pick to winning the whole thing. Respect for that. Good for him. Marshall Smarter says, I don't doubt it in the moment. Is it like being comfortable starting inside heel hook, where some people just don't think about it? Yeah, I think, like, once you're in it, I don't know, from me, like, I don't think about it. But I I I don't know. I can't say how you feel. I don't know how you feel, like, in that position. Um But I know some people just don't have that. I know like guys that I've worked with that, you know, they're comfortable fighting or playing rugby league or whatever, and to a point sometimes of delusion, but they have the physicality. Some of them have the physicality to be able to compete at that level, and they don't give a shit. They just don't care. And I know people that don't have the physicality have the same mindset, and you're like, dude, you shouldn't be doing it. But there's guys that I've dealt with, guys and girls that I'm in awe of them, of their ability to do that. Like, and it's not just mental strength. Like people talk about mental strength. I think, you know, it's such a broad topic that we don't even understand the mind. Sometimes people talk about like mental strength, and it's not that the person's strong. It's that the person doesn't like like they don't register. You know what I mean? They don't know. Even know what that it's a danger. You know what I mean? Marshall Smarter says, I don't want to meet that person who is surfing the wrong side of the Dunning Kruger wave. Mate, there's a few. Um, I I'm impressed with both these guys, man. Both these guys did really well. The the Dunning Kruger thing that you're talking about, there's um there's a lot though. There's a lot of people, then and like I was saying, like when the people say to you, like you can do whatever you want and you can be whatever you want and blah blah blah. It's more about like find what you want to do, man. Love yourself, love what you want to do. Don't worry, don't compare yourself to other people. The problem is that people I say, fuck man, you know, they do the wrong they're like think they can be LeBron James and they're not gonna be LeBron James, man. They might be a great ping pong player, but they're not gonna be LeBron James. Marshall Smarter says that was good, eh? Oh, that was fantastic, my friend. That was fantastic, Marshall Smartest. That was fantastic. I just see it, man, as a coach and just working in different things like that. Like it's just you just see it so much, man, where people you're just like, dude, how are you? Why are you that confident that you could do that? You know what I mean? Sometimes, oh, I will use it, Marshall Smartest. I will. I just don't understand sometimes. Like I look at people and I think, why were you so confident that you'd be able to do that? Like and then there's people that have all the talent and they don't have the confidence. I had Juan Espino here on the podcast before, and he said something that was real interesting. He said, like, you gotta you gotta have the confidence that you can do it, but then you have to have the confidence to do it. And they're two different things. Not everyone has that. People have the confidence they can do it, but then confidence to do it is different. um, Roger V says, what's wrong with Kevin Lee? Just doesn't have it, or should he go back to 155? Sad night for him. Well, I think you got to kick off with giving Daniel Rodriguez props. He's a good fighter, man. He's a good fighter, and he's a tough matchup for someone like Kevin Lee. Like he's a good enough grappler and understands grappling and understands wrestling enough that um like that is it's going to be hard for you to just take him down. And then he's a big guy too, and at welterweight it's harder. He's not going to be able to take him down and muscle him and keep him down like that. um and so that's a tough night for him with the crisp boxing that Daniel Rodriguez has. um At lightweight, I think he does better because he Khabibs people as well. He's a very similar guy to Khabib. Um, I can't say to you he should go back to 155 because I don't know him, man. I don't know if he can go back to 155 in a healthy and a productive manner. Um, so it's hard. Like when the commentators say stuff like that, or people say, and I'm not shitting on the commentators because they have their job to do, so they have to give opinions and they have to think. But the reality is you don't know the fighters. You don't know if the guy can actually make 155 comfortably. You don't know if Gastelum can. And I'll tell you right now, like Gastelum's not a little guy. He's not little at all. Marshall Smartest says it justifies my misanthropy lots of the time. Then the intellectualization causes combinatorial explosion that inevitably generates some form of self-doubt. But I'm working on it. But that I think also comes with experience. Like once you do something a few times, um, that I think gets rid of a lot of doubt. Like now, like it seems like trivial, but just saying earlier, I'm handing in my first assignment that I've had since I haven't handed anything in for about 15 years. I had to write an essay, right? And it for anyone that's doing uni, like probably even someone in second year uni, it wouldn't be that hard. Even though it's my first one back at masters, and I doubted it. I did, all that stuff that we just talked about, like overthought it. The nerves like almost made me want to drop out rather than hand it in and fail. But the only way that I'm going to get better is by handing it in and doing it and then understanding where the bar is, and not putting this is the other thing that people do is like not putting extra amount of pressure on yourself, like not going, oh, one day I want to do it, for example, one day I want to do a PhD, and this isn't even at undergraduate level. What's the point? I may as well not do it. It's like, no, dude, like right now, you're not doing a PhD. Right now, you're trying to hand in this assignment. Just worry about this. And it's to see that with competing as well is like right now, you're not, you know, maybe you will be world champion one day or whatever, but let's not focus on that. Focus on winning nationals in blue belt. You know what I mean? Practice getting your fucking half guard in when somebody's in full mount. That's what we're worried about. And so it's hard, man. That I think is very normal for everyone. I think what you're saying. Lucas Rivers says, Fab, with the lockdown that's been going on in Melbourne, it's difficult to keep training. Having a fight coming up isn't enough motivation for me, it seems, and I'm fearful that I've become complacent with my physical and skill level. I don't know what to do, man. Do you have a fight coming up, Lucas? Like, and you live here in Sydney and Melbourne? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Are there fights going on at the moment? Like, you know what I mean? Like, when would the fight be coming? Um, the thing I was going to say was with the lockdown that's been going on in Melbourne, it's difficult to keep training. Yeah, it is, man. Do you have a little like crew of guys in that you can keep training with in that? Because one of the things I would say, I was actually, man, I have with this Ask Coach Fab thing, I have a client who's pretty well known fighter. Like I won't put him out there, but we've had a few conversations surrounding that. And one of the things that I've just asked this person is there may or may not be an MMA. This could be a boxer as well. I'm just giving an example. But one of the conversations I've said is like, do you have to have the fight right now? Do you know what I mean? Can we not just look at the fact that, or can you just concentrate on one aspect of fighting? Or can you take this time to go, all right, I've always lacked, for example, my fitness. I'm just going to make sure that my don't worry about my skills, don't worry about all these other things. I'm just going to concentrate on one thing is my fitness, for example. And I'll take this time to get my fitness to another level. Pretend I'm not even fighting. I'm going to pretend I'm a runner. The reason I say all of that is because if you were standing at a pub and 10 dudes walk by and they want to have a fight with you, if you're smart, you're not going to jump out of the pub and go and fight these 10 guys on the footpath. If you really want to fight them, you're not going to fight them from a position of weakness. You're going to fight them from a position of strength. You're going to remember who that one of those guys are. You might know where he works. You can go see him then. You're going to go fight in a position of strength. You're not going to go fight when there's 10 dudes. And so the same thing I say to you is do you need to line yourself up for a fight right now? Or can you take this time to go, what's one of the areas that I could really work on? Just one, and we'll isolate just that one area, and really focus on it. Because then when the lockdown's done, then I can go, fuck, all right, at least my fitness or my boxing. And with one of these guys that I was talking about, is a good fighter, well, relatively well known. That was one of the things I said to him, like, well, we can't concentrate on all of that. We can't. you don't have this or you don't have that. All right, cool. What do you have? And so work on your boxing. Yeah, your grappling's going to fall a little bit or whatever, but you can't control all that shit. You know what I mean? But you can control it, getting your boxing to a next level. So that you feel like you've achieved that. I'll say from my end, like my business went down the drain. Like, and I'm about to have a second kid. There's all these factors. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I don't stress out, but I do. But one of the things I can't control is all that other stuff that's happening. So I enrolled into the master's course, this course that I'm doing at uni, so that like at least I'm getting that done. You know what I mean? And I can concentrate on getting that done. And I can kick off some goals. And I will tell you, um, I can't. I'd love to have everything going the way I would like to have it, but I don't. And so I concentrated on the things that I can, like make sure that I stay fit, make sure that I spend time with my daughter, make sure that I spend enough time with my daughter, and my wife can rest, and that I can concentrate on my masters and any other work that comes along good. And honestly, man, it's probably the best thing I've done because you can't control all that other shit. So honestly, like for you, I'd be like concentrate on one thing. Yeah, that's my opinion. Marshall Smarter says, "Fuck learning APA like 6 times was hard." Are you talking about the referencing? I don't want to talk about it, man. I having to do that now. Roy C says, "As always, thanks for the commentary and sharing your thoughts with us." Man, thank you, man. Thank you for that. And thank you guys for being here. Thanks for having a chat. I really appreciate it, man. I really, really like it. So man, I'm very, very thankful to you guys and indebted to you guys. Thank you. Um, TJC says, "Thank you, my brother. Thank you so much. We need a campaign to get you on Rogan. Psychology and competition as well as fighting. We all love your channel. Thanks for what you do, Fab." Thank you, man. I'm not a psychologist, by the way, my friend. I'm not a psychologist at all. Um, I have a great deal of respect for if you like for psychologists and that, and any mental health workers, good ones, social workers, counselors, psychs. They all got their role, and it's really really spectacular what they can do, especially during these times. I think it's tough. It's a tough time for everyone. So I think looking after your mental health is very important, man. I really appreciate TJC your support and Roy C and everyone else's, man. So please hit the like and subscribe if you haven't already. Hit the notification bell. I really appreciate it, man. McCarty says, "Unless you keep pushing outside of injury, you will probably regret it since you care enough to share this with everyone." Yeah, I don't think you should give up. I just think that you have to look at it in a different way. You know what I mean? I don't think you should like pushing. Not McCaddy. I'm not saying what you're saying is wrong because we're just having a discourse here, and I can't hear exactly what you're saying. But sometimes just smashing through and pushing through is not beneficial. Um, Regathering and hitting something from a position of strength is better. This is something I've learned like in my old age. Like sometimes like me trying to finish the assessments now has been hard, man. For some people, it's not hard. For me, it's been hard. Um, versus stopping, going, having a 20-minute, half an hour nap, and then coming back and hitting it again has been completely better than what I would have done in the past. And that's just try to smash through it. You get so much more done. Um, Stainless Stove says, "Good to see you streaming again, bud." Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Stainless Stove says, "Fab, when is a Jake Paul versus Tyron Woodley fight? I find the times hard to understand on sites. I think we're advertising it for 10 a.m. tomorrow, which is Monday 10 a.m. for Sydney time." Roy C said, "TJC, Fab would be great on Rogan. There are so many great potential guests, but he wants live interviews, which makes it kind of difficult." Um, so I misunderstand what you're saying there, Roy C. Stainless Stove says, "It's always such a pleasure to see you streaming. By far one of the most relaxing, relatable podcasts. What are your expectations coming into this fight? Thank you very much, man. Hey, it's very flattering. You guys are fucking amazing, dude. So thank you very much. Um, into this fight, I expect that Barboza is gonna like come out strong in the first 7 or so minutes. But and if Giga can weather that storm, so they're very, very similar. Height, age, everything. If Giga can weather that early storm and he can settle into setting traps, strategies, and tactics, it's going to be for Giga. And I see with the hands as well. I think Edson doesn't always react the best to the hands. Having said that, though, Barboza is always a monster because he's so athletic, can hit so hard from any which way. Lucas Rivers says, "Thank you." Marshall Smarter says, the reference format, it's annoying as hell. It's horrible. And I had to do it for the first time. But I found a website that you can just punch it into and it just does all the referencing for you. It is called Scribbler, I think it is. I think it's called Scribbler. Stainless Stove says, "There's no fucking way I'm going to uni if I don't have to. When you were talking about uni before, I'm so lucky I got friends working in IT and got a job to learn on the job." I'm happy for you, my friend. I'm happy for you. Original Sin said, "Stay ready, and when opportunity comes, then it is your chance to shine." Agree with you, Original Sin. Marshall Smarter says, "Right now I'm resting before writing an abstract for a research proposal. I do better with the tight timing constraints." I agree with you. I'm the same. Marshall Smarter says, "Regrouping and coming from strength is great advice." I I do thank you, man. I appreciate that. I've had to learn that the hard way in a lot of ways. But I think it's something that people don't understand. Like a lot of times people are working to other people's timelines. It's like, nah, dude, like you don't have to do it right now. You can take your time and take your time, be patient, and yeah, regroup. TJC says, "Isn't a freaking wild how talented Barboza is, and he's never won a title. I've watched the big fights, so I kind of know why. But still, with how skilled he is, I always thought he'd have gotten further." That's the game, though. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of talented guys, and Barboza's always been right there. It's just, you know, he just hasn't done it. He's a monster, dude. Um, Mardo says Giga. I think so too. I think Giga will probably do it. Thanks, Mardo. We get it. Scribbler probably, yeah. That's it. Really great resources on reality and validity there too. Reliability and validity. Okay, awesome. Thank you for that, Marshall Smartest. I'm trying to get through it. We'll see how we do. Royce C says, "I find the imminence of deadlines has a wonderful effect on the focus of the mind. Just can't stack them up too much." Yeah, agreed, man. What Stainless Stove says, "What do I think each fighter is concerned with?" I think Barboza's power and unpredictability from Giga's perspective, and from Barboza's, it's it's the ability of Giga to set the traps. Nice inside low kick. But just before I start talking about the fights, that goes back to that negative and positive biases of cognitive functioning, right? Because they might not be thinking about it at all. So Giga's now gone to southpaw stance and he switched back to orthodox. They've both traded some big leg kicks already, man. You know, they've traded some big leg kicks. Early on, look for Barboza, man. Barboza's super dangerous early in this fight. 5 rounds to go, though. I don't know into the third. Depends. What the other thing that happens with Barboza is how much damage he can cause with his punches and kicks, especially with his kicks to the body and legs. Where you saw him when he fought Dan Hooker, I thought that he would wear off, and he did wear off, but he'd done so much damage to Hooker that Hooker couldn't capitalize on it, and eventually he ended up damaging Hooker. Very, very dangerous man. Like that's the thing when people go, he's going to fall off. Yeah, he might fall off, but it just depends on what he's done to you in the fight. Nice inside kicks by Giga. And this is what I mean with Giga. He sets the traps. He starts to land some of these big shots. Oh, big leg kick by Barboza, checked by Giga. My God. For people that don't know what that would have felt like, man, someone's shins would have hurt, man. Like he kicked Giga, Giga took that on the shin, dude. But they clashed. That was a shin to shin one. That's not as bad as shin to foot. Oh my God. What a fight. Good matchmaking. Oh, there's the hands that I'm talking about. With Barboza doesn't react the best with the hands, and Giga just threw in a 1-2, just stepped in and threw that 1-2 down the pipe. It was really nice work. Oh, Ensign came looking for it, and then there was a scissor flying knee from Giga. Nice kick by Giga. Ooh, nice inside, nice leg kick by Barboza. Barboza's still corralling him against the cage, but Giga's smart, man. He's got the angles, he knows the work. He's using that jab very, very nicely, and he's throwing that left. When he throws from southpaw, it's very, very effective. He makes Barboza keep that right hand at home. Oh, nice spinning attack by Giga. Oh, oh, rushed in, did Giga. I don't know if he rushed in, but he definitely blitzed in, kind of slipped and fell. There's that man. The kicks that Barboza throws are scary, dude. And when he throws them to the body like that and takes them on the arm, as Giga does, that hurts your arms, man. It really, really hurts your arms. Left high kick again by Giga from the southpaw stance. That would be damaging to Barboza's arms as well. Oh, there's the boxing. Nice. He lands some good shots, did Giga. But the thing is, Barboza is very much a kicker. He's got devastating kicks. He's very much a kicker, but he's fighting someone that can kick with him. So that's a big problem for him. And now Giga's making him move backwards. So when he's moving Barboza backwards, Barboza's nowhere near as effective when he's moving backwards. No one is like with a kicking game like that. Oh, and he throws a big right hand. Barboza just managed to slip it. Oh, another big left kick by Giga. And he's signaling to Barboza. He knows that he hurt Barboza. Barboza's scouring the outside of the octagon. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the round. Stainless Stove says, because Barboza kicks too much, I assume his legs are so durable. Yeah, man, but you can only take so many. Stainless Stove says, are Barboza's legs more durable to receive kicks because he kicks more? He'd definitely be more conditioned to you'd think that he'd also spar like that as well in the gym, and his shins would be definitely conditioned. But a lot of that's got to do with how you check kicks, not just you putting your shins up and checking it. Like generally, this was explained to me by Steve McKinnon, who's a fucking wizard for kickboxing. Like you want to check so that you're checking like at a right angle, like not checking like this, so you're checking shin on shin. When the dude throws a kick, you want to check it so that your legs are at right angles and you're catching your knee or shin on his foot. So it's got more to do with your timing and your technique than you just having hard conditioned shins. I do think that some of Giga's shots have got him through a little bit from that southpaw stance into the liver. Man, he just exchanged a pair of low kicks, man, and they're pretty brutal here. Nice front kick down the middle by Giga. Oh, good exchange. Man, this is a crazy fight. They cannot fight like this for 5 rounds, surely. Surely. Giga looks very relaxed, but Edson is doing a good job of holding the center of the octagon, and that makes Giga have to move a little bit more than him around the periphery. But the longer the fight goes, I have to say it benefits Giga. Another left high kick. He's really chopping that arm of Edson. Look at that. Look at those kicks from the southpaw stance. He's kicking, man, right hand lead. Oh my god, man! No, I think that he's hurt Edson's arm as well. Those kicks from the southpaw stance that he was throwing, those left high kicks, he's throwing them so hard. He's throwing them hard into the body as well. And Edson's having to take him on the arms. He's gonna throw it up. There it is. Boom. Like he's throwing it at the body, but he knows that Edson's gonna take it on the arms. That starts to kill your arm. He's just killing Edson's arm. Edson throws another low kick, which Giga partially checks, and Giga goes to southpaw, then goes back to orthodox stance. I think he's going to go back to southpaw and chop that arm, man. He's nice right head kick by Giga. Edson slips under it just in time. Edson still, there's that, man, that left kick that he's throwing to the body and to the head is chopping away at Edson's right arm. It would be interesting to see if Edson can adjust that to start check. There it is. There he checks it with his legs. Yeah, because he can't take it on the arms. He has to check that with his legs. I don't think his right arm is working properly anymore, Edson's. He throws a right high kick. I saw him throw the right punches a couple of times, and he doesn't look good. It looks like his arm. Look how stiff his arm looks when he throws that punch. He has to start checking that left kick. He can't take it on the arms anymore. He's coming forward, Edson, and he's doing a good job of doing that. From this southpaw stance, though, he's got so many weapons. Does Giga switches to orthodox? Good work. Giga's getting out of the way, just finding the right angles. He's going to switch to southpaw again and throw that left kick. Big right kick by Edson. Nice work, Edson. Edson landed a big right leg kick then. Nice axe kick by Giga. They exchange a pair of jabs. Giga in the southpaw stance. Orthodox throws an elbow over the top, throws a nice tidy left hook. Oh, nice kick to the body by Edson. And Giga with the axe kicks. And up again with that left high kick. Doesn't smash him that time, though. Front kick by Edson. One, two, and a slip by Giga and gets out of the way of Edson's punches. Edson goes looking for another low kick, partially gets an inside low kick by Giga from the southpaw stance. So dangerous from this stance. So dangerous, Giga. Hands low, he's moving really, really well. That's the round. That was an incredible second round. I can't tell you guys how taxing this would be on these two guys. Like people go, oh, they're gas or whatever. Dude, you don't understand. It's not just the cardiovascular system, the neural system, and how concentrated they have to be. Because both these guys are fast twitch. Both these guys go bang, bang, and they're throwing kicks at your head. And so the neural system, how concentrated, how well you have to be on is extremely tiring. It's extremely, extremely tiring. Marshall Smarter says, listening to you commentating is like learning to read properly. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Roy C says lines flip flopping all over the place. Don't put money on this fight because the thing is, if I look at it, I think Giga will win this, but Edson can finish it at any stage. Edson can land a big leg kick. Edson and break his leg. You know, they can break each other's legs. Edson can land a kick to the body or to the head at any time. Does slipping punches make the fighter throwing them more tired because he doesn't land it? Um, I don't know if slipping the punches makes that happen, but if you throw as hard as you can and hit air, that's going to make you more tired. So theoretically, yes. If you throwing punches and you're hitting air and you're just swinging through, that makes you very tired. Try it. Just go outside and try and hit like nothing and swing as hard as in the air, and you're going to get tired. Um, the Marshall Smarter says that he hits Giga hits Barboza with a nice little right hand. He's rocked Barboza a little bit. Barboza's trying to get out of the way of the trouble. Here come the hands. The hands are something Barboza doesn't handle the best. It doesn't necessarily have to be part of your metabolic training, Marshall Smartest. It's training onto itself as well. And a lot of that comes from your tick. Barboza's in a lot of trouble. Giga's coming forward with the punches. He's dropped Barboza. Barboza's go looking for an Achilles lock, of all things. Well done to Barboza for surviving to this point. But he's in a hell of a lot of trouble, dude. He's in so much trouble. And that's what I said to you before the fight. Barboza and the hands are not that good. You know, he doesn't handle the hands that well. He's going looking for a Das is Giga, and he could well get this Das. He could well get this Das. He's in a lot of problems there. Is Barboza. The Das is still on. Barboza has to get to his knees. Get to your knees, Barboza. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go. He's dropped him again, and that, ladies and gentlemen, is the fight. Barboza's complaining about it, but I think that was a good stoppage by the ref because you can't let the guy just keep getting hit like that. That was a hell of a fight, though. Barboza should hold his head high, man, because that was a hell of a fight, a crazy fight. What a crazy fight. They just cracked each other, you know? That was such a good fight. Yeah, I mean, different people do, but a lot of it's got to do with like, like striking is similar, it's same as grappling. Like, people go, let's, for example, you're gonna grapple someone, and that person's got really good heel hooks, and so a lot of you'll defend being in the heel hook, right? So you'll defend how to get in and out of the heel hook, but the reality is you shouldn't. The real defense and the smart thing is you shouldn't even be in a position where the person can get the heel hook. So your reaction starts to be way before it. You know what I mean? You start to block off what they can do so that even if they get you there, they haven't got you in from the position of strength. So you're able to get out of it. So a lot of your ability to slip and slide and get in and out of punches is not so much your reflexes. It helps if you have really good reflexes like Pernell Whitaker or someone like that. But may he rest in peace. But they also, your footwork puts you in the right position. Your ability to pick your punches means that I've punched you. My footwork has taken me already outside of your range. So when you throw, I'm already slipping. I don't have to slip that much. So a lot of that's got more to do with your positioning and your technique and your tactics to be able to pick the right punches and kicks so you can slide in and out of the range and in and out of position. The same as if you're grappling. One thing is, yeah, great, you've got good footlock defense, but really good guys with really good footlock defense, you probably won't see it because they won't even get into that position. I hope that makes sense. Um, it was pretty full on that fight, man. I was really impressed by that fight. Um, Marshall Smarter says, I need to learn a system like that. Do you have any instructionals or great instructors for that? Striking, I mean. I don't know, man, that this is just me. Like, I don't know that people don't teach that. Do you know what I mean? I think that if if you go to a good boxing gym, if you go to any good amateur boxing gym, And I'm big on amateur boxing. I'm big on amateur boxing just also because of the way that amateur boxing is scored. It's all about angles, striking, and getting in and out of the range. So I'd really say to you, go to a good amateur boxing gym, somewhere where they've got good amateur boxing. And I mean, you live in Canada, so hopefully there'd be a lot of good places, and you'll really start to understand the angles and understand, like, for example, if I go 1-2 and I'll go under my right hand, right? I've already cut that angle. So I'll go 1-2 and I'll go under the hand that I punched. I come out the angle and I step through. You already are on the wrong angle to punch me. So then I can punch you again and go slide under the same hand that I punched. Um, so I'm always in the right thing. That's what boxers are looking for. So honestly, my advice would be to, like, I mean, there's so many instructionals out there, that you can look at. But if you go to an amateur boxing gym, that's where you're going to get the best work. It doesn't have to be some big name person. I guarantee you, if you go to an amateur boxing gym that's got a good amateur boxing record, they've got, you know 10, 15 kids that are fighting week in, week out, the coaches are going to be going through that all day, all day with you. That's all they're going to do is just angles, punching, getting in and out, punching, getting out the angle, and then, being able to hit from that angle. That's all they're going to do. Um, Marshall Smarter says, yeah, I haven't done amateur boxing for 15 years. Lots of smokers here, man. The smokers and hard sparring isn't what I'm trying to do these days. No, I'm not telling you to go and fight. I'm telling you to go to find a gym where they have like a good amateur boxing program, and you can just, train there and do the amateur boxing programs, because that's what the angles and that come from. You know what I mean? Um, so yeah, man, Edson got hit hard. Oh, that last combination as well, where he got hit, it was over. I'm glad the ref stopped it. I'm glad the ref stepped in. Edson probably could have kept going, but you don't want to keep going. But Marshall Smartest, like, you don't have to go in there and spar. You can just find a good amateur boxing coach, or like at a police boys club or something. You do some private classes with them. If you do that, you'll understand how to get in and out. Like, it's not thing. You don't have to spar. You can just do the mitts. Another good thing, another really good drill that I always like, but you got to find people that you can do it with. But a really good drill, you can do this with punches and kicks, or just with punches, is just you and a friend, shadow box. Don't wear gloves. Don't wear gloves, because when you wear the gloves, you tend to kind of hit each other, and you tend to punch harder than you need to. Do a bare knuckles, and you both like sparring, but hand fight, like you're just sparring with no gloves. Don't hit each other hard. You're not trying to hit each other. You're just trying to get in and get out, find the angles that you need to do, and control your punches. That's a really good drill, and I do that. Well, we do that with guys that from absolute beginner to elite. You don't want to hit the guy. You just want to move and just land little, like, kind of landing them on each other, and just finding that distance, finding where the end of your jab is. And that's an important one too, because once you understand where the end of your jab is, you can jab the person, and then if you slide out like this much more after the end of your jab, they might not be able to hit you. If you can hit and then just angled off, you start to work all those things out. Another thing is being able to take your feet with you when you throw your combinations, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people throw the jab and then they throw the right hand and the foot's all the way back. So just learning the step with your punches at 1, 2, and then you can roll out. Um, the fights are finished now, yeah. Beetlejuice says, hey, Playboy, just watched the fight. Giga is an amazing striker, beautiful performance in Unreal A. Really, really good. Beetlejuice says, hey, had the baby on Thursday. Congratulations, Beetlejuice. Congratulations, my friend. Had a baby girl. Shout out to Beetlejuice, man. You're the man. I'm very, very happy for you. Shout out Beetlejuice and his baby girl. I hope the mum and the baby girl are good, and I hope you're good too, Beetlejuice, man. Because a lot of the times we don't say, is the dad okay? And it's hard, man. It's hard on the dad, especially if you give a shit. It's hard, man. It's hard because you're up all night, and you're worried about your wife, you're worried about the baby. So, man, I hope you're all right. Take time for your own mental health. Take time for your wife's mental health. I hope the little baby's good, man. It's the best, man. My daughter is 1.5 now. Got another one on the way in December. So yeah, man, congratulations. Marshall Smart says that does sound like a fun drill. Freaking misanthropy and MMA attitudes aren't really compatible. Eh, not necessarily, man. Like there's all sorts, mate. There's all sorts. But the thing I was gonna say to you was you can do that even as a fun kind of like drill for fitness as well, because you work harder than you think you would work. Um, so all right, guys, thank you so much. I'll catch you all tomorrow for the fights with what's his name? Jake Paul and Tyron Woodley. So thank you so much, man. I really, really appreciate everything. I really appreciate you guys sharing that. Um, so yeah, thank you so much, guys. I really, really appreciate it. Take care and look after yourself, man. And I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you very much.